Chapter 101, Breaking the Perfect Gene. Liu Shanshan once said in the chat group that origin shards can directly raise one's cultivation realm without hidden risks, and can even break through realm bottlenecks, so it's best to use origin shards when attempting a breakthrough to maximize their effect. Holding the origin shards in his hand, Yue Ming faced two choices: use them to directly raise his cultivation realm, or use them to increase his gene level. He had a law fusion device and could buy godheads from the chat group mall. Breaking into the Chaos Dominator realm was only a matter of time. A bottleneck was unlikely. Using origin shards to boost his cultivation realm would be a waste. After thinking it over, Yue Ming stuck to his plan and used the origin shards to raise his gene level. He didn't know how many steps it would advance, but the chat group had already implanted the method for using them into his mind. He pressed the shards against his glabella. The shards began to melt visibly and eventually merged entirely into his body. Crack. Something inside his consciousness split. His gene level seemed to burst through some restriction and surged wildly. This felt like a fundamental breakthrough in his life. Origin, breaking a bottleneck. His life gene level had taken a decisive step. Half a month passed in a blink. Yue Ming had fully absorbed the small origin shard. Opening his rank attribute panel, he saw genes, 15,000 times, rank, immortal realm, 4th rank, realm, water 5%, space origin law 45%, water space fusion law 45% 3rd layer, will, immortal peak, amplitude 15 times, secret techniques, ice sealing heaven and earth, soul suppression, primal saint body, heaven severing sword intent. In the swallowed star cultivation system, the divine power path is divided into roughly 3 levels. Yue Ming's 15,000 times gene level hadn't even reached the first. The first level runs from 30,000 to 60,000 techs, the second from 60,000 to 90,000 techs, and the third from 90,000 techs to just shy of 100,000 techs. Few people knew there was actually a 4th gene level, 100,000 techs, a level no one had ever reached, not even on the origin continent. Each level had tremendous effects. The first gene level could make a divine body grow tenfold. A 100,000 kilometer divine body could jump to 1,000,000 kilometers. After breaking his previous perfect gene limit, Yue Ming's divine body had climbed to 100,000 kilometers in height, but that was the human ceiling before reaching the first gene level. The second level could increase a divine body 1,000-fold, e.g., from 1,000,000 kilometers to 100 million. The third allowed a divine body to vary its size at will, a theoretical infinite divine body that could expand without bound if enough divine power were absorbed. In reality, divine power is limited, the primordial universe's energy is finite, and there are higher restrictions. Even when beings like Luo Feng's 9-nether clone or the Lord of 9 Nethers stretched to diameters exceeding 10 light-years, they were barred from further expansion. It was a self-protective mechanism of the primordial universe, an enforcement of the supreme rule. Before that rule, god-kings were no more than ants. The 4th gene level was unheard of, an infinite divine body with all attributes amplified and an invisible, formless ability that could perfectly conceal and simulate auras, even life aura. If someone reached it, the operating laws of the universe themselves would condescend to acknowledge them. But the origin shards he had used weren't enough to reach the first gene level. One shard raised a gene level by roughly 5,000 times. Yue Ming had only enough origin points left to raise him a little, not to 30,000 times. His divine body had already hit its current upper limit. Until he reached the first gene level, it wouldn't grow further. It made little sense to keep pouring in more now. Better to save origin points for emergencies, or wait until he had enough to jump to the first gene level at once. He had considered another route, analyzing the fundamental characteristics of various life forms like Luo Feng had done, but he abandoned that plan. Yue Ming was on the law path. With a law fusion device as his golden finger, it would be foolish to forsake the law path to chase divine power as a primary route. Divine power could be a useful supplement, but he wouldn't force it. Besides, he lacked innate techniques to assist in researching life genes. The path of analyzing life forms was too time-consuming. It required endless study and experimentation. In the original story, Luo Feng spent trillions of eras to finally reach 100,000 ties. On the law path, Yue Ming would already have broken into Chaos Dominator or even become a God King, perhaps a primordial chaos life form. With the chat group's help, his progress could be far faster. He paused. His state of mind, his spirit and perception, was a weakness. Compared to Hong and Thunder God, he lagged, not to mention Luo Feng. If origin shards could improve his state of mind, one more shard would be well worth it. He extracted another origin shard and pressed it to his glabella. The world went dark. When he opened his eyes, he was a universe. He didn't know who he was. Memory slipped away. He had become a nascent universe, watching star domains coalesce, life planets form, billions of beings come into being. Time flowed. The universe matured, then collapsed in a great destruction. Stars disintegrated and were swallowed by the core, everything returning to the purest origin. All things are me, he thought, or rather, the realization flooded him. When he snapped back, only a moment had passed externally, but the scene of a universe's birth and death had been imprinted deeply on his soul. His gaze was now profound, seasoned by vicissitude and a hint of stunned awe. Still, he felt regret. As a universe, he had been only an observer. He had not truly experienced being a universe from within. He had watched events as if in a movie. Had he genuinely become that universe and lived its entire arc, the gain would have been extraordinary. Curious about his own improvement, Yue Ming decided to test his new state of mind in the Sea of Illusions. He had subtly mentioned the Sea of Illusions to Luo Feng and Hong, and neither of them had tried to challenge it yet. As far as Yue Ming was concerned, he was already hailed as a genius seldom seen in billions of eras. Becoming any more dazzling would only look normal to others. Earth's exposure was inevitable sooner or later. The Sea of Illusions was only a guiding thread. When a peerless genius rose from Earth, people would grow suspicious if more kept appearing. If Luo Feng truly ascended, Earth's secret would inevitably be discovered. Chapter 1-2, The Regretful Primordial Chaos City Lord. Before the secret of Earth leaks, I need to break through and become a universe exalt. With my master's backing, protecting Earth shouldn't be a problem. A universe lord wouldn't bully the weak. Besides, Yue Ming wasn't without support. Ice Peak Lord would never stand by and let him be preyed upon. But as the saying goes, it's easier to deal with the king of hell than the little devils. Once Earth's secret was exposed, petty opportunists would surely swarm. Only by breaking through to Universe Exalt could he truly protect Earth. Otherwise, the best he could hope for was selling off half of Earth's residency rights, like in the original story. What Yue Ming didn't know was that, at the end of the peak genius battle, several universe lords from the human race had already gone to Earth to investigate. A mere planet producing 3 geniuses in the top 1,000 of the finals, and Yue Ming taking first, couldn't help arousing suspicion. Yet Zuo Shanke had proven himself a God King reincarnation. His methods were extraordinary. Even when a universe lord rewound time to inspect, no anomalies appeared. Only if the Great Axe founder personally investigated might Zuo Shanke's traces be found and Earth's modification revealed. That origin shard not only greatly improved my mental state, it pushed my will into high-level venerable. Totally worth it. Yue Ming muttered, opening his rank attribute panel and seeing his will realm had advanced from undying peak to high-level venerable. Apply to enter the Sea of Illusions plane. Leaving the Hongmeng world, Yue Ming logged into the virtual universe and applied to enter the Sea of Illusions. He planned to challenge it to earn some quick points and, incidentally, test the effect of his improved mental state. With his current mindset and a high-level venerable will, he should be able to clear all 21 islands easily. The Sea of Illusions also offered tiered rewards, 100 points for clearing the first island, 200 for the second, and so on. Clear all 21, and he could earn over 200 million points, equivalent to 200 million Hun Yuan units, a substantial fortune. Since buying the rank 6 Hongmeng bead and improving his gene level had nearly exhausted his points, he needed a way to make money quickly. In the Sea of Illusions, waves crashed endlessly over black water, tens of meters high against cliff shores. Yue Ming stood on a cliff, and stared across the endless sea before transforming into a beam of light toward the first island. As he set foot on the island, the environment shifted. He suddenly found himself back on Earth, being chased by a king-level monster and running for his life. This level of illusion wants to affect me? Yue Ming shook his head. He took a step and the illusion shattered, revealing a white sandy island strewn with trees and flowers. The dark sea in the distance shifted and another island's shadow emerged. Only by clearing the first island would the next appear, so Yue Ming leaped toward the second without hesitation. Your Highness Yue Ming, he's here to challenge the Sea of Illusions. Deep within the Sea of Illusions, at the edge of the 21st island, an old man in a golden robe sat cross-legged. His face was covered in black scales. He was the administrator of the plane. His gaze pierced through countless barriers and fixed on Yue Ming. Too easy. Island after island succumbed to Yue Ming without pressure. Before long, he had advanced from the first to the 18th island, as expected of a peerless genius seldom seen in billions of eras. Judging by Yue Ming's performance, clearing all 21 islands should be no difficulty. The administrator sighed. Many geniuses had astonishing aptitude and comprehension, but serious flaws in mental state and will, making their cultivation paths difficult to complete. Yue Ming's mental state and will, however, were unusually strong. Clearing the Sea of Illusions, 18th island at his level, suggested a will comparable to a universe exalt. Junior brother Ice Peak had found a fine disciple. Primordial Chaos City Lord felt a mix of envy and regret. If he'd known, he wouldn't have recommended Yue Ming to Ice Peak Lord. He would have taken him himself. Primordial Chaos City Lord's clones stationed in the Primordial Universe had been the first to notice Yue Ming. Seeing that Yue Ming cultivated the water space fusion law, he thought Ice Peak Lord, who cultivated the same law, was the best mentor among human race universe lords. At the time of the Peak Genius battle, Yue Ming had impressive talent, but not enough to astonish even Primordial Chaos City Lord. Then, after only 30 years of cultivation in Primordial Chaos City, Yue Ming reached the second level of the fusion law. Later, he achieved the third level, entered Undying on the outside territory battlefield, and was able to slay a high-level champion Undying immediately after his breakthrough. He also obtained an opportunity and reached the perfect gene level. Now, watching Yue Ming clear all 21 islands, Primordial Chaos City Lord felt astonishment after astonishment, and deep regret for not taking him as his own disciple. The 21st island, Yue Ming moved from the 18th to the final 21st island. The moment he stepped onto it, an overwhelming illusion struck him. It felt like a mountain crashing into his consciousness, and an invisible force tried to drag his mind into the vision. Images flickered in his eyes, the birth of everything, the annihilation of the universe, endless cycles without beginning or end. Yet, the illusion had no effect. Yue Ming's soul had always been special, and the origin shard had greatly bolstered his mental state. The mental cultivation system in the swallowed star world can be divided into 3 paths. The first is clearing the mind to see one's true nature. The heart is like a bright mirror, unstained and sharp enough to cut through obstacles. The second is the innocent heart, harmonizing yin and yang, strength and gentleness combined to reach a great perfection. The third is the boundless heart that embraces all. No matter the pressure, it encompasses without being oppressed. Though called 3 realms, they are really 3 Tao paths of mental cultivation. None is inherently superior. Any path taken to the extreme can reach the same destination. The origin shard had given Yue Ming the comprehension of a mind where all things are one with the self, the third path. An illusion is, after all, just an illusion, Yue Ming said. The illusory world trembled and then collapsed with a roar, revealing the true scenery of the 21st island. Very good. Primordial Chaos City Lord nodded with a smile. He had been watching ever since Yue Ming entered the Sea of Illusions and had seen him clear all 21 islands. Many geniuses possess tremendous aptitude and comprehension, but have weaknesses in their mental state and will, which makes their paths of cultivation hard to complete. Yue Ming's heart and will, however, were extraordinary. To clear the final island at the Undying rank meant his will was comparable to a universe exalt. Ice Peak Lord had indeed gained a valuable disciple. If only he had acted sooner, Primordial Chaos City Lord thought ruefully. But it was too late now. As Yue Ming exited the Sea of Illusions plane, a notification from the virtual universe system informed him that his point rewards had arrived. Points meant purchases, so he immediately placed orders for a large number of treasures through the virtual network. 2 hours later, Virtual Universe Corporation staff delivered the goods. Yue Ming sold 80% of the treasures to the chat group mall in exchange for points. The remainder he kept specifically to aid in cultivating the Primal Saint Body. The Primal Saint Body can be cultivated on its own, and its divine body amplification improves gradually, but with auxiliary treasures, the cultivation speed can be greatly accelerated. Chapter 103, The Group Administrator's Privileges. These auxiliary treasures cost over 40 million points, but they're worth it. They should be enough to perfect the Primal Saint Body and push my Divani amplitude to 100-fold. Yue Ming sorted the treasures into batches and stored them all in his Hongmeng bead. Then his figure vanished as he entered the Hongmeng world's divine realm. He sat cross-legged in the divine hall and began refining the treasures and cultivating the Primal Saint Body. With those materials, his progress accelerated dozens of times. After all, more than 40 million points were equivalent to over 40 million Hunyuan units, roughly the net worth of a Marquise Undying. Such an expense was not wasted. Divine body amplitude has reached 100 times. It took about 8 years for the auxiliary treasures to be fully consumed. Yue Ming's divine body amplitude finally reached the upper limit of 100 times. 100-fold was the cap. The operating laws of the primordial universe imposed that restriction. The Primal Saint Body is perfected. Next, I should fully comprehend the water and space origin laws. I'll focus on the space origin law first. 100 years slipped by in the Hongmeng world, from the moment he began perfecting the Primal Saint Body to the point he finished advancing his comprehension of the space origin law. 105 years had passed in seclusion. After nearly a century, his understanding of the space origin law had reached 60%, the initial threshold for the fourth layer of the water-space fusion law. I've been in seclusion for over 100 years. I'll rest a few days before continuing with the water origin law. Compared to the space origin law, the water origin law was much easier to grasp. He estimated it would take at most a dozen years to raise his comprehension to 60%. That would leave him enough time to break through to Universe Exalt. The Hongmeng bead blocked the virtual universe network. There was no signal inside the Hongmeng world. Yue Ming's main reason for emerging was to see if anything had happened while he was sealed away. When he came out, he found many unread messages from Luo Feng and others. From them, he learned of recent events. Thunder God has already left Primordial Chaos City. Hong is still on a mission in the Doomsday Secret Realm, and Luo Feng has broken through to Territory Lord rank and been assigned to the Qianwu Universe country. Yue Ming noticed the timeline had shifted. He had been in seclusion for 105 years, during which roughly 350 years had passed in the primordial universe. By Earth's calendar, it was now 25 and 94. In the original timeline, Earth's secret had been exposed in 2518, but because Hong never ventured into the Sea of Illusions, Earth's secret remained intact for now. The exposure, however, was approaching. Once Luo Feng returned to Primordial Chaos City and was accepted as a disciple by the City Lord, Earth's secret would likely be impossible to hide. The appearance of one Yue Ming on Earth had been a miracle. If another Luo Feng surfaced, together with Hong and Thunder God, Earth's secret would be at grave risk. There's about 70 years left. Silently calculating, Yue Ming realized that though, by primordial universe time, there were still about 200 years until Luo Feng's return, according to Primordial Chaos City's timeline, only roughly 70 years remained. With a dozen years needed to reach 60% on the water origin law, he had enough margin to break through afterward. After replying to Luo Feng and the others, Yue Ming logged into the chat group and saw that Li Shanhe was online and had already broken through to rank 6. He became a group administrator. Li Shanhe's name had turned gold in the group list, and a glittering administrator label hovered above it. Several new members had joined the group during Yue Ming's seclusion. 4 fresh names appeared, members from the Doomsday World, the 10 Directions Martial Saint World, the Overturning Clouds and Raining Hands World, and the Island Survival World. Their strengths weren't impressive. Aside from one rank 2, the rest were rank 1. On the chat list, besides Yue Ming himself, the 3 lit names were Li Shanhe, Liu Ming, and Wang Bu. Wang Bu was the new rank 1 member from the 10 Directions Martial Saint World. The chat log read, Yue Ming swallowed Star World, rank 4, at Liu Ming, at Li Shanhe. Congratulations to both of you. One broke through to rank 3, the other to rank 6, and was promoted to group administrator. Last time you said your seclusion might be short, a few hundred years, or long, a few thousand years. I didn't expect such a quick rank 6 breakthrough. Rank 6. Ha ha ha. I didn't expect it to go so smoothly either. I thought it would take at least 400 or 500 years, but I managed rank 6 in just over 100. Liu Ming, a record of a mortal's journey to immortality, rank 3. To reach rank 3, I took enormous risks and barely survived by smuggling myself into the spirit realm. It's a story of sorrow and tears. Yue Ming, swallowed star, rank 4. At Li Shanhe, since you were promoted to group administrator, you must have privileges. Can you tell me what they are? Li Shanhe, coiling dragon, rank 6. There's nothing I can't say. Administrators have many privileges, red packet functions, live broadcasts, the transmigration world function, and so on. But the most important one is joining the VIP management group. Under Li Shanhe's explanation, everyone understood the VIP management group was a special chat group reserved for mid- and high-ranking members of the transmigrator lineage. Only administrators qualified to join. Even the ancestor of the transmigrator lineage was a member, but like Sect Master Tongtian, he was practically always offline. Yue Ming, I can see red packets and live broadcasts. What does the transmigration world function do? Does an administrator get to transmigrate to other worlds at will? You can think of it that way. Administrators have the privilege to transmigrate to the worlds where other group members live. However, the prerequisite is that you must obtain that member's consent. Otherwise, would you agree to let me transmigrate into the swallowed star world to goof off? With my rank 6 strength, I could sweep across the primordial universe. I'd clear obstacles in the swallowed star world and have some fun there too. How about it? Yue Ming, I think it's better not to. If you caused a huge commotion and left, I'd still be stuck in the swallowed star world. I don't have enemies. I just want to cultivate peacefully in primordial chaos city. I won't trouble you. Knowing administrators needed a member's consent to transmigrate into that member's world, Yue Ming relaxed. He certainly would not permit Li Shanhe to visit the swallowed star world. You're all too suspicious. Liu Ming was the same. When I suggested going to the mortal world, he refused flat out. Are you really afraid I'll do something to you? Brother Li, you misunderstood. I'm not being overly cautious, just practical. If I run into trouble, I'll definitely call you for help. Just don't abandon me. Liu Ming said exactly what I was thinking. Wang Bu, rank 1. Big shot administrator. Want to come to the 10 Directions Martial Saint world to play and help me out? My golden finger is garbage. It'll take who knows how long to rise, relying on myself. That world is too low ranked for my taste. I'm not interested. Forget it. Also, as an administrator, I have the authority to view your information. So I know what your golden finger is. Shake it every day, ranked 1921st on the golden finger leaderboard. It's actually pretty good. Among the 4 new members, yours is the best. The chat continued with light teasing and congratulations, but Yue Ming's mind was already calculating the years left and the steps he needed to take. He had time, and he would use it to master the water origin law and prepare for the dangers that would come as the exposure of Earth loomed ever closer. Chapter 1 of 4, The New Member's Golden Finger. Compared to other privileges, being able to view group members' information isn't much. I didn't expect to get so many perks after becoming a group administrator. It's a shame that the prerequisite for admin status is breaking through to rank 6, and I'm nowhere near rank 6 yet. Seeing Li Shanhe pick up so many privileges after being promoted to group administrator and joining the VIP management group, Essentially becoming a high-ranking member of the transmigrator lineage, Yue Ming couldn't help feeling envious. In the Swallowed Star World cultivation system, rank 6 is the threshold for a Chaos Dominator. Yue Ming was only in the Undying Realm. He still had 5 realms to climb: Universe Exalt, Universe Lord, True God, Void True God, and Eternal True God before rank 6, a record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Rank 3, Wangbu, be grateful. There are billions of golden fingers in the chat group. You managed to get one ranked in the top 10,000. That's incredibly lucky. If I had your golden finger, I'd wake laughing from my dreams. Swallowed Star. Rank 4. A golden finger ranked 1,921st is indeed good, but I'm more curious what the others got: Liu Jinshan, Zhu Yunwen, and Xiao Xiang. Coiling Dragon. Li Shantai rank 6. Liu Jinshan's golden finger is ability amplifier. Zhu Yunwen got portable farm, and Xiao Xiang has the mirror-breaking pearl. All 3 are ranked outside the top 100,000. 10 Directions Martial Saint. Wangbu, rank 1. Thinking back, I was wrong to belittle mine. Shake Every Day might be ordinary, but compared to Portable Farm or Mirror-Breaking Pearl, it's pretty strong. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Liu Ming, rank 3. Ha ha ha, I can finally breathe easier. I thought my golden finger was the worst in the whole chat group. Now there's someone worse than me. Coiling Dragon. Li Shanhei, rank 6. Actually, golden fingers can be changed. I only learned that after joining the VIP management group. You can redraw a golden finger for 100 origin points. If you ever get origin points, you can try. Swallowed Star. Yue Ming, rank 4. 100 origin points? That's highway robbery. And it's a random draw. Could be better, could be worse. I wouldn't gamble. My Law Fusion device is ranked 373rd, already a very powerful fit for me. Even if I drew a higher-ranked golden finger, it might not suit me. Liu Ming chimed in about not having origin points and the scarcity of group tasks. I'd change mine in a heartbeat if I had the points, but the chat group hardly issues tasks, maybe once every 100 years. Coiling Dragon. Li Shan rank 6. It's because our group is small. When more members join, the chat group will issue tasks more often, perhaps once every few years, according to other admins in the VIP management group. Coiling Dragon. Right now, everyone's strength is low, so the tasks issued are elementary and offer small rewards. As members grow stronger, intermediate tasks will appear, each awarding at most dozens of origin points, maybe at least a dozen. Advanced and supreme tasks will give much bigger rewards. If Li Shanhei was right, earning origin points could accelerate later. Dozens for an intermediate task, hundreds or thousands for advanced ones. But higher-ranked tasks also meant higher danger. Reward and risk rose together. Without the necessary strength, taking intermediate or advanced missions would be courting death, just like Invincible East. Coiling Dragon. Li Shan rank 6. Group administrators have extra tools like the red packet function. If anyone needs help, just ask me. I'll only charge a small handling fee. Coiling Dragon. If you run into unavoidable danger, you can call me. My intervention fee is minimal, only 0.1 origin points. If you don't have points, you can owe me and pay later. Spending 0.1 origin points to save a life isn't a loss. The chat group can revive members, but its cost is higher. Li Shanhei had picked up these practices from other chat group administrators in the VIP management group. It was a hidden advantage of being an admin. When the group grew, offering paid interventions could become lucrative. Li Shanhei's plan to let people repay later would make him the go-to rescuer. Life mattered most. Many would accept a small debt for salvation. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Liu Ming 3. Brother Li, you're ruthless with your business sense. You even plan to charge friends? Coiling Dragon. Li Shang 6. No rules, no standards. I learned it from other admins. If you're jealous, then cultivate. There are still 8 admin slots open. You're all old members, so you have an advantage. Work hard, and you might get promoted. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. I'd like to, but I know my limits. My hope is slim. Yue Ming, though, has a real chance. He might break through to rank 5 soon. Swallowed Star. Yue Ming, rank 4. It's not that fast. How long has it been since I hit rank 4? Breaking to rank 5 will probably take at least 8 or 10 hundred years, maybe longer. Coiling Dragon, Li Shan at rank 6. I'm actually optimistic about Yue Ming. His golden finger suits the Swallowed Star world very well. For most people, rank 6 is extremely hard, but for Yue Ming, it's only a matter of time. If nothing unexpected happens, he should be a strong candidate for one of the remaining 8 admin positions. Li Shanhe had always favored Yue Ming and Lu Ming as the most promising admin candidates, more so than Liu Shanshan. Yue Ming and Lu Ming both had strong golden fingers and had transmigrated into powerful worlds, giving them clear long-term advantages. Liu Shanshan was rank 5 now, mainly because she joined early and had an unusual identity after transmigration. Her god tomb world was lower in rank and her golden finger wasn't as fitting, but she still had advantages over most. Coiling Dragon, Li Shan, rank 6. Golden fingers help a lot only early on. By rank 8, they're basically useless. Breaking through to rank 9 doesn't rely on golden fingers. At that point, you can't outsource anything. It must be done yourself. Only by reaching rank 9 and becoming a transcendent can one be considered truly significant across the all heavens and myriad worlds. After joining the VIP management group, Li Shanhe had seen many people and events and his perspective widened. Many admins there were already rank 8 but had been stuck at the final step for untold years, unable to become transcendent. That was why rank 9 remained so rare. If it were easy, the transmigrator lineage wouldn't count only a few dozen transcendents. Chapter 105, Ice Peak Lord returns. Disciple, your master has returned. Come to the City Lord's mansion at once. The Ice Peak Lord's voice suddenly echoed inside Yue Ming's mind. He said his goodbyes to the others, closed the chat group, and flew straight for the City Lord's mansion. Greetings, teacher. When Yue Ming arrived, the main hall was quiet. Only the Ice Peak Lord sat waiting. The primordial Chaos City Lord must have stepped away to leave the reunion to master and disciple. Your senior brother Chaos said you had been in seclusion more than 100 years. How much have you progressed? The Ice Peak Lord asked with a smile. In at most 20 to 30 years, this disciple is confident he can cultivate the 4th layer of the water space fusion law. After that, I should be able to break through to the venerable realm in one leap. Yue Ming replied, Really? The Ice Peak Lord rose in surprise. Even a dignified Universe Lord could not hide his excitement. Yue Ming's words exceeded every expectation. How could this disciple deceive you? I only speak what I truly believe, Yue Ming said earnestly. Excellent, excellent. The Ice Peak Lord laughed heartily. As a teacher, he was pleased to have such a promising disciple. I prepared some supreme treasures for you. With a wave of his hand, 2 supreme treasures materialized, a golden, pagoda-shaped treasure and a silver-blue longsword. This longsword is the sky blue sword, a high-grade supreme treasure. The pagoda is the gilded gold pagoda, a domain-type ordinary supreme treasure. Both items had been selected specifically for Yue Ming. The sky blue sword was the weapon Yue Ming had used before. The gilded gold pagoda, a domain-type treasure, was even more valuable. The Ice Peak Lord had paid a high price to obtain it. Thank you, teacher, Yue Ming said, accepting them gratefully. These 2 artifacts would considerably boost his power, and among them, the gilded pagoda was the more valuable. This is a token of filial respect from your disciple. Yue Ming produced a spatial ring. Inside were treasures he had long set aside, heaven and earth-grade items capable of enhancing genetic levels. There was enough to raise the Ice Peak Lord to a perfect genetic level, with some left over. I'll shamelessly accept it. The Ice Peak Lord felt a little embarrassed. Compared to reaching a perfect genetic level, the 2 supreme treasures he'd given were trivial. Have you encountered any doubts in your cultivation recently? The Ice Peak Lord asked. Actually, I have a few, Yue Ming admitted. I was just about to ask for guidance. The months that followed passed in a blur. The Ice Peak Lord's explanations of the water space fusion Tao opened Yue Ming's eyes, especially in practical applications. He realized his own use of the fusion law had been superficial and learned far more subtle and powerful ways to apply it. The Tao of fusion is also called the Tao of the Beast God. There is a great power in the universe called the Elder God Cult. Have you heard of them? The Ice Peak Lord asked. I have heard of them, Yue Ming replied. The Elder God Cult represented the primordial universe and claimed to be the largest power there. They maintained strict neutrality and rarely involve themselves in conflicts. If you want, I can help you apply for a Beast God inheritance token from them, the Ice Peak Lord offered. For now, I won't go. When my fusion Dao meets a bottleneck, I'll reconsider, Yue Ming said. He had a law fusion device already. He didn't need the Elder God cult's Beast God legacy. More importantly, joining the Elder God cult would likely attract assassination attempts from other races. For his own safety, it was better to remain in Primordial Chaos City and cultivate quietly. That's sensible. When you decide, tell me and I'll apply, the Ice Peak Lord said. That's all for now. I'll go back and digest everything. If I have doubts, I'll return for guidance. Yue Ming bowed and withdrew. Back at his residence, he entered the Hongmeng bead to seclude himself and assimilate what he had learned. After Yue Ming left, the Primordial Chaos City Lord appeared in the main hall and watched the Ice Peak Lord with a trace of envy. When you reach a perfect genetic level, your strength will rise dramatically. You should reach the peak of the 5th tier. The Ice Peak Lord was already a 5th tier Universe Lord, but ranks had weight. Some were stronger than others. The Primordial Chaos City Lord stood among the very top of the 5th tier. Ha ha ha! I must thank Senior Brother Chaos. If not for him recommending that extraordinary disciple, how would I have gained him? The Ice Peak Lord said, grinning. Senior Brother Chaos, let me use your place for a while. I need to enter seclusion, the Primordial Chaos City Lord said. As you wish. The Ice Peak Lord selected a quiet spot and began refining the heaven and earth treasures from the spatial ring. As each treasure was refined, his aura rose steadily. Months flew by, and the Ice Peak Lord used more than half the items. Finally, his genetic level reached perfection. The moment he achieved it, a vast, ancient will descended and enveloped him. His body stood still as his consciousness drifted into a mysterious space under the primordial universe's guidance. The will of the primordial universe has descended, the Primordial Chaos City Lord exclaimed. Every being who attained a perfect genetic level was granted a unique innate secret technique by the primordial universe. Curious, the Primordial Chaos City Lord watched intently as the Ice Peak Lord awakened. Junior Brother Ice Peak, what innate secret technique did you receive? Space-time annihilation. The Ice Peak Lord shook his head, faintly disappointed. Space-time annihilation was middling, roughly comparable to the secret techniques of a 4th-tier universe lord. It could conjure a pocket of space-time, trap an enemy, and then annihilate that space to unleash devastating power. But for a 5th-tier universe lord, its power felt underwhelming. Senior Brother Chaos, I still have some treasures left that can enhance genetic levels. I'll give them to you. They should be enough to raise your special life clone in the primitive mystical region to a perfect genetic level, the Ice Peak Lord said, and tossed the spatial ring to the Primordial Chaos City Lord. He had only used about 2/3 of its contents. The Primordial Chaos City Lord's special life clone was already close to 10,000 times and could be pushed to perfection with the remainder. The Primordial Chaos City Lord hesitated at first, but under the Ice Peak Lord's insistence, he accepted the gift. These resources aren't public property of the human race. I give them to you personally. Even if others know, they can say nothing. Please accept them. Even brothers could quarrel. Among the 5 great human race powers, there were always hidden tensions, especially over allocation of resources. In the original history, when the Primordial Chaos City Lord applied for a Beast God inheritance token for Luo Feng, the matter had to be debated among higher-ups. He could not guarantee approval alone. It revealed how, beneath unity on major principles, there were still countless internal struggles. Junior Brother Ice Peak, thank you, the Primordial Chaos City Lord said. Ha! If you want to thank someone, thank my disciple. I owe my good fortune to him, the Ice Peak Lord replied. Indeed, I must thank that young man. Chapter 106, Fusion Law, 4th Level. The Ice Peak Lord's explanation of the water-space fusion Dao was extremely enlightening. Not only have I become more proficient with the water-space fusion law, but I even have some ideas for creating secret techniques. The Ice Peak Lord's lecture had left a deep impression on Yue Ming. He wasn't in any rush to invent new secret techniques, though he planned to wait until he broke through to the Universe Exalt realm. Yue Ming waved his hand and summoned 2 supreme treasures, a sky-blue sword and a gilded pagoda. The sword and pagoda floated silently before him. He had spent 3 years initially refining the sky blue sword and another 2 years on the gilded pagoda. The sky blue sword's power really is far above the ice seal sword. As expected of a high-level supreme treasure, Yue Ming tried to activate the sky blue sword. Its power greatly exceeded the peak heavy treasure ice seal sword and significantly boosted his strength. The gilded pagoda was a domain-type supreme treasure. Once activated, it could form a domain that suppressed foes and sealed space-time. But Yue Ming was still at the Undying Realm, so it was difficult to fully activate supreme treasures, especially a domain type, so he couldn't unleash their true power yet. Fortunately, he would soon break through to the venerable realm. Once he became a universe exalt, he would be able to truly command his supreme treasures. Now I have 3 supreme treasures: the armor-type high-level supreme treasure Flying Fish Battle Armor, the attack-type high-level supreme treasure Sky Blue Sword, and the domain-type supreme treasure Gilded Pagoda. I only need a palace-type and a soul-type supreme treasure. Yue Ming didn't own a soul-type supreme treasure, but he did possess a soul-type peak-heavy treasure for the time being. What he lacked was a palace-type treasure. He certainly couldn't acquire a palace-type supreme treasure yet, so his plan was to obtain a palace-type heavy treasure now and replace it later when possible. It's time to go into seclusion and comprehend the water origin law. He logged into the chat group, checked the history, then bought a water element godhead from the mall and began his comprehension. 15 years passed in a flash. Yue Ming purchased hundreds of godheads from the chat group mall and finally raised his comprehension of the water origin law to 60%. Combined with the 5 years spent refining the sky blue sword and gilded pagoda, his seclusion this time lasted exactly 20 years. Fusion. When his comprehension of the water origin law reached 60%, Yue Ming activated the law fusion device and began fusing the water and space origin laws. Rank, Undying Realm, 4th rank. Realm, Water Origin Law 60%, Space Origin Law 60%, Water Space Fusion Law 60%, 4th level. Will, High-Level Venerable Gene, 15,000 times Amplitude, 100 times Secret Techniques, Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth, Soul Suppression, Primal Saint Body, Heaven Severing Sword Intent. The Water Space Fusion Law has broken through to the 4th level, which means I can break through to the Universe Exalt. But Yue Ming delayed coming out of seclusion. He intended to cultivate the Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth secret techniques first, focusing especially on the Fusion Law offensive techniques within the 4th level. The attack secret techniques listed in levels 4 through 7 of Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth were all peak level. Most Universe Exalts used peak secret techniques. I'll cultivate Gathering Rain into Frost. In the 4th level of Ice Sealing Heaven and Earth, 99% of the techniques were auxiliary. Only 3 were peak attack secret techniques. Yue Ming chose Gathering Rain into Frost. After breaking through to the Universe Exalt, he would create his own secret techniques, so cultivating Gathering Rain into Frost now was only a transitional measure. Creating secret techniques could take thousands or even tens of thousands of years. In the meantime, he needed to have something useful in a fight. After more than 5 years of practice, Yue Ming had a basic mastery of Gathering Rain into Frost, not perfect, but serviceable. As soon as he emerged from the Hongmeng world, he received an email from his master, the Ice Peak Lord, asking him to come to the City Lord's mansion after leaving seclusion. The message had been sent a long time ago, but the Hongmeng bead had isolated the signal, so he only received it upon exit. You're back. Have a seat. This peak-heavy treasure is called the Thousand-Layered Palace. It's a flying palace-type peak-heavy treasure bestowed upon you by your martial uncle Chaos. You should accept it. At the City Lord's mansion, the Ice Peak Lord produced a flying palace-type peak-heavy treasure and tossed it to Yue Ming. It was a gift from the primordial Chaos City Lord. Master, why would martial uncle Chaos suddenly bestow a peak-heavy treasure on his disciple? Yue Ming asked, puzzled. He didn't feel comfortable keeping such a treasure without knowing the reason. Just accept it, the Ice Peak Lord said. Are you not going to accept a treasure when it's offered? I can tell you why, but you must promise to keep it secret. Master, rest assured, I will keep my lips sealed. Those treasures you provided to help with gene rank were very effective. I used 2/3 of them and reached perfect gene rank. I gave the rest to your martial uncle Chaos, and one of his clones also reached perfect gene rank. Now you know why your martial uncle Chaos gifted you a peak-heavy treasure, don't you? So that's why. Yue Ming felt relieved. It turned out the primordial Chaos City Lord was repaying a debt for Yue Ming's help. Originally, martial uncle Chaos didn't know how to thank you. I knew you lacked a flying palace-type heavy treasure, so I requested the 1,000-layered palace for you. It's a treasure he used in his youth and ranks among the top of peak-heavy treasures. Use it well. Yes, Yue Ming gratefully accepted the 1,000-layered palace. With this addition, he now possessed the 5 major treasure types in the Swallowed Star world: armor, attack, domain, soul, and palace. Since you've come out of seclusion, you must have mastered the 4th level of the water-space fusion law, the Ice Peak Lord observed. Your insight is sharp. I have mastered the 4th level, Yue Ming replied. I plan to return to the primordial universe soon to find an opportunity to break through to the universe exalt. Although he could break through in the primordial universe, Yue Ming's divine kingdom was inside the Hongmeng bead, and it was inconvenient to release it there. So he intended to leave Primordial Chaos City and return to the primordial universe to complete his breakthrough. Go. I await your good news, the Ice Peak Lord said. Disciple takes his leave. Yue Ming didn't return to the primordial universe right away. Instead, he spent more than 2 years initially refining the 1,000-layered palace. With a flying palace-type heavy treasure at his disposal, his old spaceship could be honorably retired. Chapter 107, Returning to Earth, Meeting Luo Feng. Master, we're about to make a jump through the universe and enter the solar system. Countdown. 10, 9, 8. The universe craft trembled as it slipped out of the dark universe. Through the external view, Yue Ming saw a familiar star field, a scorching sun with planets circling it. It was the solar system. To avoid assassination attempts by alien races, Yue Ming had altered his aura and appearance. He had quietly left Primordial Chaos City alone and returned to the primordial universe. He'd even swapped his recognizable universe craft for a more ordinary model, the kind commonly used by undying beings. After all, many had seen his original ship, and flying it in public would have been asking to be recognized. It's been many years, he murmured. The solar system has changed a lot. Even Mars has been terraformed. Through the viewport, he watched Mars, now much closer to Earth. The red planet had been transformed into a green world of life. Humanity lived primarily on Earth, but also on Mars. The Moon and several satellites had been reshaped as well. Universe ships flew regularly from Earth to the Moon to Mars, like interplanetary buses. It was now normal to have breakfast on Earth, lunch on Mars, and return home to sleep. When Uncle Yue arrives, don't embarrass me. If you make a scene, I'll break your legs, a voice warned. Dad, what's Uncle Yue like? Is he easy to get along with? When Yue Ming learned Luo Feng was on Earth, he'd sent him an email to say he was returning. Luo Feng summoned the Luo family and came personally with his wife Xu Xin and their 2 sons, Luo Ping and Luo Hai, to greet him. A universe craft landed in front of the Luo family manor. When the hatch opened, Yue Ming stepped out in casual clothes. Brother Ming, welcome back, Luo Feng called. Why are you 2 frozen? Hurry up and greet him, Xu Xin urged. Uncle Yue. The 2 boys stepped forward. Luo Ping, steady and reliable, had stayed on to help manage family affairs with Xu Xin. Luo Hai was more adventurous, like his father. He'd gone out into the world and had recently become a personal disciple of Lord Qianwu. Both brothers had grown up on stories about Yue Ming. Seeing him in person made them study him with bright curiosity. For a first meeting, an elder should give a little gift. Yue Ming produced 2 small fruits from his world ring and tossed one to each of them. Thank you, Uncle Yue. Their eyes went wide. They hadn't expected the casual offering to be so valuable and carefully stowed the fruits away. Brother Ming, you didn't have to spend so much, Luo Feng grimaced. Since Yue Ming had sold the star fruit tree to their race, star fruits occasionally appeared in the treasury at outrageous prices. Each cost 5 treasure points and vanished the moment they surfaced. Even universe exalts scrambled for them. A single star fruit could multiply genetic potential tenfold. If they were worth even more, hordes of cultivators would clamor for them. "Brother Ming, it's rare for you to return. I prepared a banquet to welcome you." Luo Feng led him into a vast banquet hall where servants brought out course after course, delicacies from across the universe, many of which Yue Ming had never seen. The hall was lavish but intimate, packed mostly with core Luo family members. Everyone was polite and restrained. Not many dared speak out of turn. Yue Ming and Luo Feng chatted and laughed easily. Xushin sat by Luo Feng, pouring tea and listening. "Your external mission as a territory lord should be ending soon, right? When will you apply to go to Primordial Chaos City?" Yue Ming asked. "Soon. When the mission ends, I'll apply to go to Primordial Chaos City." Luo Feng had already broken through to World Lord rank. As a core member of the Virtual Universe Corporation, World Lord cultivators could apply to cultivate in Primordial Chaos City for up to 1,000 years. "And you, Brother Ming, why return to the Primordial Universe now? Given your nature, you'd usually prefer to stay secluded in Primordial Chaos City unless something important came up." "I'm preparing to make a breakthrough to Universe Exalt. Primordial Chaos City isn't a convenient place for that, so I came back to the Primordial Universe and took the chance to visit Earth." Luo Feng inhaled sharply. He looked at Yue Ming with disbelief, then forced a wry smile. "Brother Ming, I didn't expect you to be attempting Universe Exalt so soon. I thought after my breakout to World Lord, I could catch up to you. Instead, the gap just keeps widening. Then keep pushing. Try to reach Undying and step into Universe Exalt quickly." Yue Ming said lightly. He smiled inwardly. Luo Feng didn't know how hard the path to Undying could be. In the original tale, Luo Feng's leap to Undying had been excruciating. His vast inner world and the tough core of his Golden Horn beast clone made it nearly impossible. Even after his Gold Origin Law reached major achievement, after creating a third Blood Sea clone, perfecting the Golden Horn beast clone's genes, acquiring the universe's strongest innate secrets, I am the universe, and forging ultimate techniques, he still failed. Only after 50,000 years of wandering and tempering his heart, changing his mental state, did he finally become undying through sheer will and the final mastery of his techniques, laws, and the third form of the myriad star Tao diagram. It was a near miracle, and only someone like Luo Feng could have pulled it off. "All right, let's call it a night. I want to look around. Don't worry about me." After a month on Earth, during which he toured widely and took in how much the world had changed since he'd been gone, Yue Ming prepared to depart. "Master, the place you told me to find has been located." A figure materialized and bowed. King Chan Xin, one of Yue Ming's soul servants. When Yue Ming had last left Primordial Chaos City, he hadn't brought his full retinue. Instead, he stationed his soul servants near the Milky Way, guarding the solar system. Apart from Yue Ming himself, only Luo Feng, Hong, and the Thunder God knew that detail. Otherwise, a sudden contingent of Undying near Earth would have caused a lot of alarm. "Take me there," Yue Ming ordered. He sent one last email to Luo Feng he was leaving Earth, then withdrew a universe craft from his world ring and climbed aboard. He had long instructed King Qianxin and the others to search for spatial rifts filled with spatial fragments. Yue Ming was about to attempt the breakthrough to Universe Exalt, and when his god kingdom expanded, he would need to absorb a great many of those spatial fragments. Chapter 108, Breaking Through to Universe Exalt. The spaceship left Earth and streaked through the starry expanse of the Milky Way, quickly leaving the solar system behind before stopping above a barren planet. Yue Ming casually drew a line in space, tore a gap, and stepped into the spatial interlayer. He passed through the spatial fragment layer and the spatial divine kingdom layer, finally arriving in the spatial torrent layer. Countless vast spatial fragments filled this place. Fragments tens or even hundreds of billions of kilometers across were common. Each region of the spatial interlayer differed. Some were thick with fragments, others sparse. Yue Ming had deliberately chosen a spot with an abundance of fragments to break through to Universe Exalt. "This is the place," he murmured. He conjured the Hongmeng bead. Light flared from it, and a vast divine kingdom unfurled. Yue Ming sat cross-legged within the projection and began to settle his state. When he reached his peak readiness, he unhesitatingly began to break through to the Universe Exalt realm. Boom! The pressure of the universe origin law descended. Above the divine kingdom, a colossal five-colored vortex opened, stretching tens of billions of kilometers. From that vortex, a visible ocean of divine power poured down from the void, flowing into the divine kingdom. The descent of the universe origin. This is an unprecedented sight, Yue Ming thought, staring up at the enormous five-colored vortex. He had seen other breakthrough scenes recorded in the virtual universe. Each time a five-colored vortex and a sea of divine power appeared, but those were usually tiny, barely a few hundred kilometers across. This vortex dwarfed them all. The torrential ocean of divine power thundered down like a waterfall, rushing into the divine kingdom and surging into Yue Ming's divine body. His body, 100,000 kilometers tall, ravenously absorbed the divine power and began to transform, undergoing the conversion from undying to universe exalt. Normally, moving from undying to universe exalt expands the divine body 100-fold. A normal human goes from 100,000 times World Lord power to 10 million times World Lord power. But Yue Ming's gene level far exceeded the perfect standard, 15,000 times, and the amount of divine power required was staggering. This chance is rare. I must seize it to devour and convert, he thought. The five-colored vortex continued to pour endless divine power. As Yue Ming soaked it in, his divine body slowly changed. The descent of the universe origin, however, was fleeting. Of the three major ascensions, into undying, into universe exalt, and into universe lord, only the descent that accompanies entry into undying allows unrestricted absorption and near-perfect conversion. The windows for universe exalt and universe lord were short. How much divine power one could take depended entirely on individual capacity. Only about 20% converted. Yue Ming frowned as the vortex waned and the spectacle dissolved. For most human powerhouses breaking into universe exalt, the divine body conversion typically reached around 90%, with exceptional cases hitting a full conversion. Peak bloodline races might only convert 50%. But Yue Ming's gene level and the sheer scale of his divine body made the target enormous. Even frantically siphoning, he had converted only about 20% during that brief descent. Fortunately, I still have my talent's secret technique. He activated his divine power absorption talent. It could link to the universe's origin land and siphon divine power from its ocean, though its intake was far slower than the direct descent of the universe origin. After all, one method passively pours power into you, the other requires active drawing. After using the divine power absorption talent for nearly a month, Yue Ming's divine body finally finished converting. At that moment, he truly stepped into universe exalt. The divine kingdom, meanwhile, continued to transform and stabilize, like replacing a thatched hut with reinforced concrete. The change rolled on for another half-month, still expanding rapidly, the explosive growth that follows a break into the exalt realm. My current strength, he reflected, compared to a top universe overlord, I may only be lacking ultimate secret techniques and deeper law comprehension. I haven't forged a signature secret technique yet. Top universe overlords usually possess their own ultimate secret techniques and supreme treasures. Yue Ming did not lack supreme treasures. His flying fish battle armor and sky blue sword were both high-grade supreme artifacts, and he had a domain-type ordinary supreme treasure as well. But in secret techniques, he had only cultivated peak techniques from ice-sealing heaven and earth. Empowered by heaven-severing sword intent, they were formidable among peak techniques, but not on par with a true ultimate technique. In law comprehension, he had reached the fourth layer of water space fusion law. Top overlords could command fusion laws at the seventh layer, so there was still a long road ahead. The divine kingdom is still expanding, he noted, and decided to go into seclusion to cultivate heaven-severing sword intent further. 7 years passed. During seclusion, Yue Ming advanced the third layer of heaven-severing sword intent. The third layer multiplies the power of an offensive secret technique by 8. My will has reached top universe overlord level as well, he said inwardly. When he first entered universe exalt, his will had already reached universe overlord level. Cultivating the third layer of sword intent pushed his will over the threshold to top universe overlord. Status, rank, universe exalt, 4th rank. Realm, water origin law 60%, space origin law 60%. Water-space fusion law 60%, fourth layer. Will, top universe overlord. Genes, 15,000 times. Amplitude, 100 times. Secret techniques, ice sealing heaven and earth. Soul suppression, primal saint body, heaven-severing sword intent. The divine kingdom is expanding madly. Despite his progress, the domain still swelled. 3 more years passed before its growth finally began to slow. In these 3 years, I gathered quite a lot of spatial fragments, enough for the divine kingdom to feed on for over 1,000 years, he noted. He had used the Hongmeng bead to collect hundreds of millions of spatial fragments, ensuring the domain's supplies for a very long time. He activated the Hongmeng bead, folding the divine kingdom back into the Hongmeng world. With one flicker, he left the spatial inner layer and returned to the primordial universe. Guard the Milky Way galaxy. If anything happens, notify me by message, he told his undying servants before boarding a ship for Black Dragon Mountain, a branch of the Virtual Universe Corporation. He traveled through a spatial tunnel to the corporation's universal headquarters and then back to Primordial Chaos City. Teacher, your disciple has broken through to Universe Exalt and is preparing to compose his own secret techniques. I hope to receive your guidance, Yue Ming said when he logged into the virtual universe and sought out Ice Peak Lord at the Thunder Island Mountain Peak Palace. Ice Peak Lord smiled when he saw him. You finally thought about creating secret techniques, he said. Many cultivate their own techniques as world lords. I didn't press you earlier because your law comprehension was in a rapid ascent. I'll grant you 108,000 sets of water and space origin law secret technique classics to study. You don't need to cultivate them all, but learn from your predecessors' methods. I'll also use my privilege to open an independent spatial plane for you in the virtual universe and arrange special opponents for you to train against. Thank you, teacher. Chapter 109, Creating a Peak Secret Technique. The independent special space I opened for you and the opponents I arranged there are not as simple as you think. They will target your weaknesses deliberately in combat. In that special plane, your basic physical attributes are fixed, just as they are when you challenge the Heavenly Bridge. To increase your combat power, you can only rely on your law comprehension and powerful secret techniques. A new opponent will only appear after you defeat the previous one. If you can beat 500 opponents, it means the secret technique you've created has reached the top tier. If you can beat 1,000 opponents, it reaches the peak tier. If you can beat 2,000, then congratulations, you've created an ultimate secret technique, the same tier as those I have created. Creating a secret technique is not an overnight task. You will inevitably run into difficulties during the process. If you can't solve them yourself, you can always come to me for guidance. Thank you, teacher. Less than half an hour after Yue Ming exited the virtual universe, staff from the Virtual Universe Corporation delivered the shipment to his door. Ice Peak Lord had likely given them special instructions because their efficiency was unusually fast. Dozens of large iron crates were stacked before him, each filled with countless ancient manuals of secret techniques. Yue Ming felt a headache coming on. These texts had been collected in the corporation's treasury for generations, all related to the water and space origin laws. They included auxiliary research materials and combat secret technique tomes, not only from humans but from other races as well. Ice Peak Lord had said there were 108,000 sets. Looking at the mountain of manuals, Yue Ming had no trouble believing it. There were indeed well over 100,000. 20 years of study, and at last I can begin creating secret techniques, he thought. It wasn't the number of manuals that worried him, it was the depth of study required. He didn't intend to cultivate every technique, but he wanted to understand their principles thoroughly. With that knowledge, he could innovate rather than copy. Enter the special space. Yue Ming logged into the virtual universe and requested entry into the independent special plane Ice Peak Lord had opened for him. As expected, it was like the Heavenly Bridge. Only the most ordinary physical attributes were in effect. In that space, his gene enhancements and treasures couldn't be manifested. To win, he had to keep strengthening his secret technique. A buzzing sound and a blurred shadow condensed into being. It formed into a special life form over 10 meters tall, its body carved from black rock and burning with inner flames. Purple fire glowed in its eyes. It wielded a blood-colored spear tens of meters long, a terrifying sight. The two clashed immediately. The opponent attacked not only with brute force but with precision, probing for weakness. Yue Ming felt an unprecedented discomfort, like having strength but nowhere to direct it. Time slipped away. In a blink, 10 years had passed. Opponent after opponent fell before his sword, but each victory cost him dearly. After every fight, he would reflect, research, and refine his technique. Finally, "I've defeated the 800th opponent," he muttered. According to Ice Peak Lord, defeating 500 opponents meant the secret technique had reached the top tier. Defeating 1,000 meant it had reached the peak tier. Yue Ming had already bested 800 and was closing in on 1,000. His high cultivation realm made the process faster. Many Undying could create top-tier techniques, and Yue Ming, now a Universe Exalt, had an advantage. His new secret technique had a single form for now, effectively one sword strike. He named it the Heaven-Severing Sword Technique, and that strike was its first form. Another 8 years passed, and finally he crossed the threshold. He had defeated 1,000 opponents. The first form of his Heaven-Severing Sword Technique had reached peak tier. Stop here for the time being. The higher one advanced in creating secret techniques, the more time and effort each step demanded. Creating an ultimate secret technique would likely take thousands or even tens of thousands of years. Yue Ming decided not to continue now. The peak form was sufficient for his current needs. The first form of the Heaven-Severing Sword Technique is tailored to me. It lets me use 100% of my strength, he said to himself. Although it had just reached peak tier, its power exceeded the peak technique, gathering rain into frost from ice-sealing heaven and earth. It was Yue Ming's strongest offensive technique so far. Crucially, the Heaven-Severing Sword Technique was built on the principles of his Heaven-Severing Sword intent, so the two complemented each other perfectly. Other offensive techniques could be boosted by his sword intent and have their power doubled, but there was always a subtle mismatch. Only his own technique fit seamlessly. That was why he had named it Heaven-Severing Sword Technique. Teacher, your disciple has created a peak secret technique. After creating the peak technique, Yue Ming left the special space and returned to his mountaintop palace on Thunder Island to meet Ice Peak Lord. To create a peak technique so quickly, your comprehension must be extraordinary. Even if it's only the first form, it suits your current needs, Ice Peak Lord said with approval. Yue Ming's gene level, mental state, will, and talent for fusion law were already exceptional, and now his comprehension ability proved outstanding as well. A self-created secret technique can release a disciple's full strength more completely than learning someone else's ultimate technique, Ice Peak Lord continued. What do you plan to do next? Will you push this technique to the ultimate tier, or pause now? I don't intend to continue creating techniques, Yue Ming replied. The peak form is enough for now. Creating an ultimate secret technique would take far too much time. It's better to spend time cultivating fusion law and push to break through to Universe Lord as soon as possible. Spending thousands or tens of thousands of years to make an ultimate technique would be a terrible waste for him. With that time invested in comprehending the origin law, he believed he could reach Universe Lord far sooner. From that higher perspective, creating an ultimate technique would be much easier, just as Universe Exalts could create peak techniques more readily. Very good. I'm glad you think that way, Ice Peak Lord said. Comprehending the origin law is the foundation. Secret techniques are applications of origin law. Only when your realm is high can creating techniques be truly efficient. Ice Peak Lord had never been a fan of disciples wasting decades on secret techniques. Many who devoted themselves to techniques did so because their law comprehension had stagnated, making breakthroughs impossible for aeons. Yue Ming was different. Pursuing the fusion law and breaking through to Universe Lord was the righteous path. Have you named the technique? Ice Peak Lord asked. Yes, it's called the Heaven-Severing Sword Technique. For now, it only has the first form. After a brief conversation, Yue Ming left the virtual universe again. He rested for a few days and prepared to enter seclusion to deepen his law comprehension. Then an email arrived. Luo Feng is returning to Primordial Chaos City? The message was from Luo Feng himself. He had completed his external mission and was headed back to Primordial Chaos City. Once Luo Feng returned, he planned to challenge the Heavenly Bridge. If he succeeded, he would attract the attention of Primordial Chaos City's lord and could be taken on as a named disciple. Yue Ming reviewed the original plot in his head. Compared to that outline, the current Luo Feng was undeniably stronger. Chapter 110, Luo Feng's Breakthrough. I've finally returned to the primal universe. It's been a long time since I last challenged the Heavenly Bridge. Today, I'll give it everything I've got. Back in Primordial Chaos City, Luo Feng immediately applied to enter the Tongtian Bridge plane. In a flash, he transformed into a stream of golden light and sped into the nine-universe Heavenly Bridge. Custodian Bafin muttered as he prepared to send notices. Many king-level immortals and exalts had asked to be informed whenever Luo Feng challenged the bridge. Luo Feng's a genius few see in 10,000 eras. I should let them know right away. The news spread fast. King Longyu smiled when she received the message and rushed to the Tongtian Bridge plane. Within seconds, nearly 100 Undyings appeared on the island, more than half of them champions, including Zhanyan King, King Longyu, and King Tianan. The rest were Marquise Undyings. 86 Undyings in total had gathered, all arriving almost at once. Zhanyan King, long time no see. Congratulations. What a disciple you've raised, some praised. Ha ha ha, Luo Feng's just challenging the bridge and everyone's come? Another replied. The Exalt ordered me to watch him. I wouldn't dare slack off. As soon as I heard he was challenging the Heavenly Bridge, I rushed here, said someone else. The island buzzed with the inevitability of factional rivalry. Universe Exalts within the Virtual Universe Corporation competed through their subordinates. The more powerful the followers, especially king-level immortals, the more influence an Exalt wielded. A peerless genius like Luo Feng was a prize many Exalts hoped to recruit. Longyu, you must tell Nine-Sword Exalt what's happening. So many Exalts are circling Luo Feng. Don't let him be poached, one Undying teased. King Longyu smiled coolly. What belongs to our Exalt, no one can take. What doesn't, no amount of scheming will help. Still, she secretly sent a message to Nine-Sword Exalt to inform him of the gathering. The fate of a genius could tip allegiances and power for a long time. Guess how far Luo Feng will get this time, someone asked. At least the 8th level. Bolin from their batch passed the 8th already. Luo Feng shouldn't be worse. 9th level, maybe. He always surprises us. Could be the 9th, but the 10th seems unlikely. Every 3 levels is a checkpoint. As the Undyings debated, conversation fell silent at the sight of the screen. Luo Feng had already reached the end of the 8th level and was fighting its Guardian. The Guardian stood no chance. After a short struggle, Luo Feng dispatched it and advanced, smooth and decisive. They thought the 8th would be tough, but he cleared it easily, someone remarked. Passing the 9th, 10th, and 11th levels followed in quick succession. The island grew still. In a few hundred years, Luo Feng's power had vaulted from barely passing the 7th level to sweeping through the 11th, with energy to spare. The Guardian at 11 had not posed much pressure. This speed is terrifying. Not a genius in 10,000 eras. He's something you see once in 10 million eras, someone breathed. Exactly. How is he cultivating so fast? Has he mastered origin law that easily? Didn't he and that other prodigy come from the same life planet? Another mused. The chatter trailed off when the 12th level fell as well. Luo Feng then entered the 13th. In that fight, he activated his divine evolution weapon, the 9-stage Hun Tianyan, and unleashed its final 9th stage. Undying can also be defeated. The 9th stage lived up to its name. The Hun Tianyan's ultimate form could contend with Undyings. In rare cases, it could even slay them. With it, Luo Feng killed the 13th level Guardian through sheer force and technique. The assembled Undyings watched in stunned silence, but the 14th level Guardian proved overwhelming. Luo Feng was instantly killed upon entering that level. Relief and admiration washed over the crowd in equal measure. Zhanyan King, congratulations, they said, surrounding Zhanyan King. To have such a disciple, how enviable. A disciple like Luo Feng was priceless. the master-disciple bond could outlast blood ties. A genius of Luo Feng's caliber, one in 10 million eras, could rise to become a champion peak or even a universe lord. Zhan Yan King's prestige rose in everyone's eyes. Later, sitting cross-legged on a rooftop in primordial Chaos City, Luo Feng slowly opened his eyes and smiled. I finally passed the 13th level, but compared to Brother Ming, I still have far to go. No arrogance. Babata's voice chimed in his mind. Luo Feng, your master Zhan Yan King has sent you a message. He asks you to see him. Luo Feng leaped down and phantasmed to Zhan Yan King's mansion. There he learned astonishing news. The primordial Chaos City Lord had sent someone to inquire about taking Luo Feng as a named disciple. After Luo Feng's performance, many Universe Exalts had sent offers. The primordial Chaos City Lord's interest was the most significant. He ranked second among the human race's supreme experts and stood first within the Virtual Universe Corporation. Zhan Yan King advised Luo Feng to accept. Ha 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 ha, very wise, Zhan Yan King laughed. But first, go and tell Nine Sword Exalt. He's your direct exalt. Give him the courtesy of knowing. If he hears you're going to acknowledge the primordial Chaos City Lord, he won't object. Understood, Luo Feng said. He would pay his respects and avoid offending Nine Sword Exalt. Leaving the mansion, Luo Feng logged into the virtual universe and visited Nine Sword Exalt. He explained the situation. Nine Sword Exalt, though perhaps disappointed, did not stop him. After logging out, Luo Feng called Yue Ming and reported, Brother Ming, I passed the 13th level. The primordial Chaos City Lord wants me as a named disciple. That's a tremendous opportunity, Yue Ming replied. To be taken as the primordial Chaos City Lord's disciple is rare. Many would give anything for the chance. For Luo Feng, the choice now opened a door that could change his future. If he continued to rise, the named title could one day become personal, and his path among the stars would widen even further. You might not know this, but my teacher, Ice Peak Lord, and the Primordial Chaos City Lord, our City Lord, are senior brothers. Primordial Chaos City Lord is my senior martial uncle. Since you've become his disciple, we can call each other senior brothers from now on. Ha, Brother Ming, so I should call you senior brother from now on? Luo Feng laughed. They were both from Earth and had always been close. He hadn't expected to get the chance to become senior brothers so soon. You should hurry to the City Lord's mansion. Don't keep Senior Marshal Uncle Chaos waiting. You don't want to make a bad impression before you even become his disciple. All right, Brother Ming. I'll come see you after I formally become his disciple. Luo Feng ended the call and went straight to the City Lord's mansion. As Yue Ming had warned, he didn't want to offend the primordial Chaos City Lord before the formal apprenticeship. Compared with the original story, Luo Feng had become a disciple decades earlier than planned. Yue Ming shook his head and smiled. He hadn't expected Luo Feng to challenge the Heavenly Bridge right after returning to Primordial Chaos City. The apprenticeship went smoothly. Primordial Chaos City Lord accepted Luo Feng as a named disciple and set a test. If Luo Feng could cultivate the first layer of the metal space fusion law within 3,000 years, the City Lord would accept him as a personal disciple. The reason for that particular test was clear. Luo Feng had caught a trace of the beast god concept, which suggested talent for fusion laws. If he had lacked that talent, the City Lord might have given a different trial. Come, let's drink and talk, Yue Ming said. Knowing Luo Feng was coming, Yue Ming had prepared fine wine. They drank and discussed fusion laws, mostly Yue Ming talking. Though he cultivated the water space fusion law, he was more than capable of guiding someone who had not yet entered the realm of fusion laws. Luo Feng didn't linger long. He returned to seclusion to cultivate the metal space fusion law. 3,000 years was all the time he had, and he intended to use every second. Yue Ming also went into seclusion. He entered the Hongmeng world, settled in his divine kingdom, and began to advance his comprehension of the origin laws. Origin law breakthroughs slowed the further one progressed. Raising his water origin law to 75% had taken Yue Ming nearly 30 years. Even in seclusion, he surfaced once a year to check on the outside world. Is this Earth? Far out in the starry expanse above the solar system, an impossibly vast figure suddenly appeared and looked down at the planet. He was disheveled, barefoot, hair wild, like a wild man come out of the wilderness. but the aura he radiated made the entire heavens tremble. Earth beneath him was no larger than a basketball. Strangely, despite his colossal presence, no person or technology detected him. He stood outside the normal flow of space-time. Neither the solar system's defense installations nor passing interstellar craft, including the immortal servants Yue Ming had stationed there, registered him. This heavens has been artificially modified. The wild giant, Great Axe founder, scanned the celestial expanse, his voice rumbling through the void. He noted an abnormality and muttered, "No wonder Chaos asked me to investigate." He frowned. For a single life planet to spawn so many geniuses and even one peerless prodigy was peculiar. He decided to see what the planet was hiding. Reverse! Great Axe founder extended a massive hand. An invisible fluctuation rippled outward and wrapped the solar system. Space-time solidified. Everything paused, then began to run backward. It was as if a movie were being played in fast reverse. Starships flew backward along their paths, planetary orbits inverted. People who had been walking forward suddenly stepped backward. Time rewound like a tape, and all of Earth's past unfolded in reverse for Great Axe founder to observe. He watched the planet's history and realized that Earth had been destroyed 3 separate times. Each annihilation was followed, after long epochs, by recovery. Life surged back and evolved anew. As he examined the traces left by those modifications, a chill of recognition passed through him. The methods used looked eerily similar to those of a certain powerful being, a being who had once reshaped worlds to cultivate and guide a new race. This race had been exceptional in spirit and mind, much like the Flame God race had been exceptional in physical genes. So it was him. Time rolled back to before Earth's first destruction. In that vanished scene, Great Axe founder saw an old man sitting atop a mountain peak some 90,000 kilometers tall. From a remote, dim corner of the primordial universe, the old man's gaze pierced the endless void. Great Axe founder noticed and turned to look. At that instant, the two pinnacle existences of the universe met each other's eyes. Great Axe founder inclined his head slightly. The old man returned a gentle smile, nodded once, and withdrew his gaze. Great Axe founder stood in the heavens, expression thoughtful. Then he slowly withdrew the enormous hand he had extended. The frozen, reversed space-time began to snap back into place. Like a compressed spring that regains its shape when released, the universe's operational laws self-repaired. Because he had only reversed the flow of time and had not attempted to change events or resurrect the dead, the restoration was merely the normal correction of the cosmos. Had he tried to alter outcomes, he would have violated the universe's laws and suffered severe backlash. Space-time finished its return. Everything resumed its proper course. The starry expanse settled back to its original node. Great Axe founder's presence had vanished, as if he had never appeared at all. Chapter 112, Earth Exposed. Brother Ming, do you know Venerable Shi Huo, Venerable Bu Si, and the others? Luo Feng arrived at Yue Ming's cultivation residence looking unusually grave. He cut straight to the chase, mentioning Shi Huo and Bu Si without preamble. Their universe exalts from the Great Axe battleground. Why bring them up now? Yue Ming's heart tightened. He had a bad feeling. The secret of Earth might have been exposed. Just now, Venerable Shi Huo and Venerable Bu Si contacted me through my teacher, John Yan King. They got my contact info and invited me to meet them privately in the virtual universe. They said they wanted to buy the ownership of Earth. Luo Feng's face was serious. But I didn't agree. I made an excuse. I can't make such a decision alone and need to discuss it with you. I told them to wait, but from the way they acted, they won't give up easily. Luo Feng's words confirmed Yue Ming's fear. Earth was their homeland. Even though it was formally under his name now, he would never sell it. Transfer Earth to my name, Yue Ming said. If they want to buy Earth, let them deal with me. Earth belonged to Yue Ming as much as to Luo Feng. If Yue Ming, a newly minted universe exalt, couldn't defend his homeland, it would be an unbearable humiliation. Luo Feng hesitated. Brother Ming, you've only just broken through to universe exalt. Can you handle them? Luo Feng had already asked John Yang King about them. Venerable Shi Huo was a once-in-10 million era prodigy, backed by the Lord of Void Gold. Venerable Bu Si was far older and more powerful, a genuine top universe overlord. In such circles, Luo Feng's status as a named disciple of primordial Chaos City Lord was insignificant. Yue Ming smiled with quiet confidence. You little brat, have you forgotten me? I may have just broken through to Universe Exalt, but my strength isn't inferior to older Exalts. Defeating a venerable Shi Huo would be like beating a child. Do you believe me? As for Venerable Bu Si, he's a top universe overlord. I may not be his match yet, but he won't be able to take me lightly. Yue Ming's genetic line and divine body were formidable. He could overpower top universe overlords physically, and he lacked nothing in treasures. Only in secret techniques and law comprehension did he lag behind true elders. Why do you think they suddenly want to buy Earth? Luo Feng asked. He wasn't naive. Yue Ming had dropped hints before. Do you think it's because Earth is special? Yue Ming said plainly. With the secret out, he decided to tell him. Life that develops on Earth during the embryonic stage is subtly shaped by the planet. It causes a particular evolution in the soul, making it far easier to understand and cultivate states of mind. That's why people like Hong and Thunder God achieved such high mental states. A lot of exceptional minds have come from Earth. Luo Feng's face fell. No wonder. If Earth's nature was known, countless people would covet it, and even a top universe overlord could be interested. Brother Ming, I'll transfer it to your name right now. Whether Earth survives depends on you. Both men were core members of the Virtual Universe Corporation. The transfer was a small administrative task. In moments, control of Earth legally moved to Yue Ming. Luo Feng frowned as another message from Venerable Shi Huo popped into his interface. He's asked how our discussion went. He's still inviting me to meet in the virtual universe. Then let's go, Yue Ming said. I'll come with you and see what he wants. They logged into the virtual universe and met Venerable Shi Huo. The moment he appeared, a crushing pressure rolled out, meant to cow them. Luo Feng bent at the waist under it. Yue Ming barely registered it, then snorted coldly. The pressure vanished like a popped bubble. Humph! Yue Ming's single sound carried authority. Venerable Shi Huo stared in disbelief. You are Yue Ming? You've already broken through to Universe Exalt? Even Venerable Shi Huo, seasoned and proud, was stunned. Yue Ming's rapid rise, not yet 1,000 years even by primordial universe reckoning, defied expectations. Venerable Shi Huo had thought the rumors of Yue Ming's genius might be exaggerated or embellished. Instead, he had underestimated him. This new fact complicated Venerable Shi Huo's plans. If Yue Ming was a Universe Exalt now, acquiring Earth would be far harder. At least Earth was still under Luo Feng's name, and it seemed they didn't yet fully know Earth's unique trait. A vein of gloom crossed Venerable Shi Huo's face, but he masked it with a practiced smile. Luo Feng, what's your decision? Are you willing to transfer Earth to me? If my price isn't enough, we can negotiate. How does 1 billion Hunyuan units sound? Luo Feng spread his hands helplessly. I already transferred Earth to Brother Ming. If you want to buy Earth, talk to him. Venerable Shi Huo checked the records in the virtual universe and confirmed the transfer. His face darkened. If you won't sell, that's fine, but Earth can still be gained by other means. Put up a peak treasure and fight me. Earth and the peak treasure as the stakes. Don't say Earth isn't worth that. I'm an Earthling. I know how valuable it is. Take your time to decide. Yue Ming inclined his head. Luo Feng, let's go. They exited, leaving Venerable Shi Huo stunned. Rage and wounded pride flashed across the venerable man's face. Yue Ming, a newly minted Exalt, had challenged him so brazenly, using him to build reputation. He had never been treated so disrespectfully. Outside the virtual universe, Luo Feng hesitated before speaking. Brother Ming, why did you do that? To gamble Earth with Venerable Shi Huo? Are you sure? Yue Ming's expression was calm. Earth's secret is out now. Everyone will come coveting it. I need to establish my prestige. Venerable Shi Huo is the perfect opponent. Don't worry, a mere Venerable Shi Huo I can easily suppress. Luo Feng sighed. Do you really think he'll agree? He will, Yue Ming said with quiet certainty. I've just stepped into Universe Exalt. He may not look down on me, but producing a peak treasure, that's unlikely. I pushed hard and acted arrogant on purpose to infuriate him. If he refuses a peak treasure, I'll still win with top-tier prizes or several high-grade treasures. Either way, I have a plan. A moment later, Yue Ming checked his messages. A small smile broke over his face. Venerable Shihuo agreed. Chapter 113, A Huge Stir. However, Venerable Shihuo agreed to the bet, but he could only offer a high-level treasure, not a top treasure. As a high-level venerable and a personal disciple of a universe lord, Venerable Shihuo could hardly be expected to produce a top treasure. Many universe lords used only top treasures. Asking Shihuo for one was unreasonable. For him to put up a high-level treasure was already pushing his limits. Brother Ming, if Shihuo can only offer a high-level treasure, should we even take this bet? Earth is worth far more than a single high-level treasure. Bet. Of course we bet. Yue Ming was a little disappointed that Shihuo couldn't bring out a top treasure, but he was supremely confident he could crush him. Why refuse what was essentially a free prize? The stakes must be at least 3 high-level treasures, Yue Ming declared. And one of them has to be a soul-type high-level treasure. That's my bottom line. If you can't meet that, don't waste my time. Yue Ming placed a video call to Venerable Shihuo through the virtual universe network and laid out his terms. 3 high-level treasures was non-negotiable. 3 high-level treasures? Shihuo's complexion, which had briefly brightened, fell away. Through gritted teeth, he answered, "Fine, I accept. Where and when will we hold the bet? In the virtual universe or in reality?" Yue Ming preferred reality. His advantage lay in his colossal divine body and his talent's secret techniques. 100,000-kilometer-tall divine body combined with the divine power absorption talent's secret technique gave him nearly unlimited divine power. He could grind Shihuo down in a war of attrition. On top of that, he wielded the heaven-severing sword intent. A single will impact might be enough to end Shihuo, since Yue Ming's will had already reached the level of a top universe overlord. For those reasons, he insisted on meeting in the real world. "Half a year from now," Yue Ming said, "I'll be waiting for you at the Virtual Universe Corporation's All-Universe headquarters. You don't have enough time to gather 3 high-level treasures? I'll give you 6 months then." "Good," Shihuo said, and then abruptly ended the call. He feared if he stayed in the conversation, he'd be driven to rage. Yue Ming wanted an audience. "Luo Feng, spread the news about the betting battle between Venerable Shihuo and me. If we're using Shihuo to build my reputation, there must be witnesses." Understood. With Luo Feng's planned promotion and the help of Jianyan King, news of the bet spread fast through Primordial Chaos City. The undying existences there, each with their own circles and connections, passed the information along. It created a huge stir. At first, people reacted with disbelief, but when it was confirmed that Yue Ming had broken through into the Universe Exalt realm, the shock deepened. "I said that prodigy who secluded himself in Primordial Chaos City for 100 years might have surpassed us all. I didn't expect it to be true. Of course, his advancement is terrifying, Universe Exalt, in such a short time." Yue Ming just broke through. Shihuo is an old Universe Exalt. I'm not so sure about Yue Ming. He's a genius prodigy. Don't forget, the moment he entered Undying, he slew a high-level champion. This match is a must-see. I'm heading to the Virtual Universe Corporation's All-Universe headquarters. Anyone want to come? Let's go together. I'm curious to see who wins. Count me in. I'll join the crowd. On Thunder Island within the virtual universe, groups of undying spiritual gods and universe exalts clustered in 2s and 3s, discussing the upcoming duel. Some had already set out to the All-Universe headquarters. Venerable Shihuo had once been hailed as a peerless genius, appearing every 10 million eras. Yue Ming was now called a peerless prodigy, appearing every billion eras. Naturally, a clash between these two drew enormous interest. Shihuo had no choice but to invite allies. He wanted Earth for himself, but Yue Ming's demand for 3 high-level treasures, including a soul type, was more than he could produce alone. In desperation, he brought in 3 or 5 trusted friends, shared the secret of Earth, and proposed that they pool their stakes. If they won, Earth would be jointly owned. "I trust Shihuo," Venerable Yanshan said. "No matter how talented Yue Ming is, he just made Universe Exalt. He can't defeat Shihuo." "The value of Earth is like a peak treasure," Shihuo argued. "You can move your families there. Future descendants might produce prodigies like Yue Ming or Luo Feng. Or you could sell your share. Countless people will scramble for Earth. This is a guaranteed win. Don't miss it." Moved by Shihuo's pitch, the other universe exalts finally agreed and began discussing how to assemble the stakes. If it were attack type or armor type high-level treasures, we could scrape those up, but soul type high-level treasures, we don't have those. Soul type treasures were second only to domain and palace type treasures in value. A single soul type high-level treasure could be worth more than a dozen attack type high-level treasures. I'll provide the soul type high-level treasure. All heads turned as a new figure appeared, Venerable Busi. Greetings, Venerable Busi, everyone said, standing and bowing. Busi's voice was confident. I'll provide the soul-type high-level treasure, but I want 2/3 of Earth's ownership. That's non-negotiable. Shihuo's face tightened. He didn't like it, but he dared not argue with a top universe overlord. Busi was famously arrogant. Offending him would be unwise. When are you holding the bet? Busi asked. Half a year from now, Shihuo replied. The date had been set by Yue Ming. Ostensibly, it gave Shihuo time to round up the treasures, but it also let the issue simmer and attract an audience. Busi said, his eerie green eyes lingering on Shihuo before he chuckled and vanished. I'll watch the match in half a year. Don't disappoint me. Why did Busi show up, demanding 2/3 for himself? That's a lot. What can we do? He's a top universe overlord, and he's petty. Better not to provoke him. All the universe exalts turned to Shihuo. Shihuo, how will we split the remaining 1/3 of Earth's ownership? I want half of the remaining 1/3, Shihuo said without hesitation. I'll contribute 1 high-level treasure, and the rest will be divided equally among you. Agreed. We'll do it that way. Reluctantly, the other universe exalts consented. Shihuo was the one directly involved, so it was only natural he took the largest share among the remaining portion. Chapter 114, Sword Suppresses Venerable Shihuo. Half a year passed in the blink of an eye, and word of Yue Ming's wagered duel with Venerable Shihuo had spread throughout the upper echelons of the human race. Even before the match began, thousands of undying spiritual gods and universe exalts had already arrived at the Virtual Universe Corporation's headquarters to watch. The human race's senior ranks, the universe lords, were aware too, but rather than forbidding the duel, they tacitly allowed it. The wager starts in 3 days. Venerable Busi has opened a betting pool. I put 5 treasure points on Shihuo to win. Have you placed your bets? I made a small one, 10 treasure points on Shihuo. Too bad Shihuo's odds are only 1-2, while Yue Ming's are as high as 1-5. If only the odds were reversed. Among the king-level immortals attached to the Virtual Universe Corporation, Zhenyan King, King Longyu, King Tianan, and the like, several friends gathered to trade gossip and bets. King Tianan, King Jinyu, you're both of the Virtual Universe lineage. Why are you betting on Shihuo like those from the Great Axe Battleground? One of them asked. Don't think me foolhardy, Zhenyan King replied. I have inside information. Betting on Yue Ming is a sure thing. And do you think a prodigy like Yue Ming is reckless? Since he agreed to the wager, he must be confident. I've bet 500 treasure points on Yue Ming. The others stared, incredulous. Zhenyan King was Luo Feng's teacher. Luo Feng had told him something that convinced him of Yue Ming's victory. Zhenyan wasn't a rash man. If he'd risked everything, he must be certain. 500 treasure points? One of them repeated. Are you mad? Betting all your assets? Maybe not 100%, but I'd have to be at least 90% sure to do this, Zhenyan said evenly. I told you, bet on Yue Ming, do as you will. Zhenyan's calm certainty swayed them. A few immediately upped their wagers on Yue Ming. I trust Zhenyan. I can't match 500, but I'll raise mine by 100, one said. Another, I've known Zhenyan for ages, I'll increase mine too. Zhenyan watched his friends go off to change their bets and smiled wryly. If Yue Ming lost, everyone would blame him, but he could not bear to see his friends lose needlessly if he truly believed Yue Ming would win. Venerable Shihuo has arrived, someone called. 3 days vanished. As promised, Venerable Shihuo appeared, a towering figure in the starry void wrapped in monstrous black flames that stretched for millions of kilometers. Inside that radius, everything had been incinerated to particle streams. Even the cosmic laws around him seemed scorched away. He had seized dominion of that starry sky. Shihuo, you're making quite an entrance, trying to intimidate me? Yue Ming's voice rang out, and he appeared opposite Venerable Shihuo, as if teleporting in. The black flame domain dissipated in an instant. Control of the space fell to Yue Ming. The domain fell to him? Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Venerable Busi's face changed. If Yue Ming could suppress Shihuo's domain, his strength must surpass Shihuo's. Busi had wagered a high-grade soul-type treasure and set the betting pool. If he lost, the price could be ruinous. Earth is my homeland. If I, a universe exalt, can't even defend it, I would be laughed out of the universe, Yue Ming said calmly. Many nodded silently. No one wanted to be the exalt who could not guard his home. You dared lay eyes on Earth, so you must face my wrath, Yue Ming went on. Show me, genius from tens of millions of eras ago. Don't disappoint me. Yue Ming wanted not merely to beat Venerable Shihuo, but to crush him utterly in front of everyone, establishing authority and dissuading others from coveting his homeland. At those words and that cool, condescending smile, Shihuo's fury exploded. The black flames on his body flared. Kill, he snarled, and his killing intent surged like a storm. Clusters of flame swelled tenfold. 2 black tornadoes coalesced and hurtled toward Yue Ming's position. Yue Ming's divine body expanded like a nova, becoming a colossal form 90,000 kilometers tall in an instant. Against that magnitude, Venerable Shihuo's once giant body seemed like an ant. Yue Ming had restrained himself. After breaking the perfect gene level, his true limit was 100,000 kilometers, but the perfect gene cap was 90,000, so he manifested a 90,000 kilometer form to avoid unnecessary escalation. Even so, it was more than enough. Shihuo's attacks could not perturb Yue Ming's divine body. Is that all you've got? Yue Ming sneered. Who gave you the right to covet my homeland? He poured infinite divine power into his sky-blue sword and unleashed the first form of the heaven-severing sword technique. A faint sword light flashed, and under that peak secret technique, Venerable Shihuo's defenses collapsed. His domain shattered instantly. Although he wore a high-grade treasure armor, one strike lopped off 10% of his divine body. Even Shihuo's full-strength counterattack, hitting Yue Ming's enormous form after the mitigation from his battle armor and the sheer size of Yue Ming's divine body, only managed to erode 1,000th of Yue Ming. Then Yue Ming activated his innate secret technique, Divine Power Siphon, and his divine body recovered. Breathless, Shihuo faltered. Under Yue Ming's relentless assault, his divine body consumption accelerated. In an instant, he lost half of it. Facing down a 90,000 kilometer divine body that could bleed him to death, despair filled his eyes. Reluctantly, he fished out 3 high-grade treasures and flung them toward Yue Ming, then vanished. Smart move, Yue Ming said. He could not finish Shihuo. Shihuo had powerful backers, and openly killing him here would provoke objections from the human race's higher-ups. The duel's victory by surrender was decisive enough. Nearby, Venerable Busi's expression was ashen. He had lost. Not only was the high-grade soul-type treasure he had wagered gone, but his betting pool would require massive payouts. Far fewer had backed Yue Ming, but Yue Ming's odds were 1 to 5. Venerable Busi did rapid mental arithmetic and paled. He might owe over 1,500 treasure points. His vision blurred. Yue Ming, having anticipated the bets, didn't miss his chance. He had pooled 50 treasure points on himself. At 1/5 odds, that would net him 250. Let's go collect our winnings from Venerable Busi, he said. Luofeng had gone all in too and profited handsomely. Meanwhile, Venerable Busi's losses mounted. He had gambled and lost on a scale that could crush him. Around the headquarters, people celebrated and commiserated as the consequences of the wager rippled outward. Chapter 115, Teacher's Summons. Damn Shihuo. Venerable Busi hated Venerable Shihuo. That loss had cost him an enormous sum of treasure points, far more than he could easily produce. Even as a top universe overlord, he couldn't cough up that much on the spot. Venerable Busi, you're not planning to renege on your debt, are you? I bet 50 treasure points. Pay up. Yue Ming appeared out of thin air and stepped in front of Venerable Busi. I bet 50 treasure points too. But junior brother, don't speak so rashly. Venerable Busi is renowned across the universe races for his battle achievements. He's a pillar of our human race. He wouldn't deliberately renege on a debt. Don't say such offensive things. Venerable Xuan Yu materialized at Yue Ming's side. She'd also bet 50 treasure points on him and had just made a tidy profit. Fine, I'll pay. Venerable Busi ground his teeth, silenced by Venerable Xuanyue's reproach. They were from the same era, both universe overlords, old acquaintances whose relationship was never close. With Yue Ming and Venerable Xuanyue teamed up, Busi felt outmatched. Yue Ming's enormous divine body, now at the perfect gene level and 90,000 kilometers tall, was a headache even for a top universe overlord. That secret was no longer unknown among the human race's high ranks. Many universe overlords already understood the situation. Thank you, Venerable Busi. Yue Ming kept his tone even as Busi begrudgingly transferred treasure points. Busi ended up sending funds to multiple bettors, small sums here and there, but the public pressure was relentless. One by one, other undying spiritual gods and universe exalts came forward to collect their wins. Even a top universe overlord wasn't willing to face that kind of public wrath. He gritted his teeth and paid everyone, borrowing heavily from his friends and supportive senior brothers just to settle the debts. Zhenyan King laughed loud and long. He had bet 500 heavy treasure points and had just gotten rich. His net worth shot up several times. Ha ha ha, Zhenyan is flush today. Let me treat everyone to a drink. Thanks to Zhenyan, and to Zhenyan, trusting him paid off. No, this one's on me. I earned the most this time. The undying gods bantered as coins exchanged hands. Galaxy Venerable is amazing. Venerable Shihuo didn't stand a chance. Galaxy Venerable's strength is at least that of a universe overlord, maybe even enough to rival a top universe overlord. Galaxy Venerable, who gave him that title? It's the honorary title everyone's using. He's too low-key, didn't even have a name when he became champion. Now that he's a universe exalt, he deserves an honorary title. He's the Lord of the Milky Way, so Galaxy Venerable fits. Nobody knew who first coined the title, but everyone liked it, and it stuck. Junior brother, congratulations. I didn't expect you to catch up so fast. Your current strength is comparable to a universe overlord. With that massive divine body, even a top universe overlord would struggle to outlast you. And you reached universe exalt without telling your senior sister. Venerable Xuanyue sighed with a mix of pride and chagrin. I didn't want to show off, Yue Ming said casually. If Earth's secret hadn't been exposed and I hadn't been forced into action, I might have kept cultivating in seclusion until I broke through to Universe Lord. His real worry was different. Once exposed, alien races would be desperate to assassinate him. He wouldn't be surprised if they sent a Universe Lord, or worse. A private message arrived then from Ice Peak Lord. Come to the Thunder Island Peak Palace. Yue Ming split off a wisp of consciousness, logged into the virtual universe, and teleported straight to the summit. Ice Peak Lord awaited him. About Earth, Ice Peak Lord said quietly, the smile in his voice steady. The 5 great forces of the human race have convened. Earth was created and personally modified by an alien great master. Its value is immense, comparable to a peak treasure. One universe lord proposed that Earth be seized by the human race. I objected. Your senior martial uncle Chaos supported my position. The stir caused by your match with Venerable Shihuo changed everything. Someone suggested resolving the dispute with a contest between you and Venerable Shihuo. If you win, Earth stays. If you lose, the human race takes it. You defeated Venerable Shihuo decisively. You proved you can protect Earth. Ice Peak Lord's pride in his youngest disciple was plain. Yue Ming bowed. Thank you, teacher. However, Ice Peak Lord continued, your strength is now out in the open. That will attract assassins from alien races. If you were stationed guarding the Milky Way, a desperate alien might send a Universe Lord or even a Universe Strongest to try to take you out. What do you suggest we do, teacher? Yue Ming asked. He had no intention of personally guarding the entire galaxy. The risk would be nearly certain death once his identity and power were known. I propose temporarily entrusting Earth to the Virtual Universe Corporation, Ice Peak Lord said. Not the human race, an independent corporate management. Your senior martial uncle Chaos opposed that, arguing it would harm the unity of the human race. In the end, I decided to call on your senior brother, Venerable Wuan, to stand guard over the Milky Way. He is a universe overlord with a clone of a special life form and carries numerous treasures. Even a top universe overlord would think twice before making a direct move against him. "Isn't that asking too much of senior brother?" Yue Ming asked. He'd heard of Venerable Wuan's reputation, but had never met him. Venerable Xuanyu had described him as a universe overlord on the verge of top universe overlord status, powerful and well-protected thanks to his clone. "He's hardly burdened with duties," Ice Peak Lord replied. "He cultivates in seclusion most of the time. Let him take temporary charge of the Milky Way. It's the safest option." Yue Ming agreed. It was the best practical solution. With Venerable Wuan watching over the galaxy, alien universe lords would be far less likely to risk an invasion over a single planet. The chances of failure, or of a retaliatory loss, would be too great for most races to gamble on. For now, at least, Earth would be safe. Chapter 116, Galaxy Venerable. You've already stepped into the Universe Exalt realm. With your current strength, you qualify to build a palace on the summit of Thunder Island. On Thunder Island's central mountain range, only Universe Lords and top Universe Overlords could claim summit palaces. Compared to a top Universe Overlord, Yue Ming might be a little weaker in law comprehension and secret techniques, but he possessed a 90,000-kilometer giant divine body. Even a top Universe Overlord would have trouble dealing with that. In practical terms, Yue Ming could be regarded as on par with a top Universe Overlord. Ice Peak Lord's declaration that Yue Ming could build a palace drew no objections. Every Universe Exalt receives an independent, exclusive plane space. I'll arrange one for you, Ice Peak Lord continued. Thank you, teacher. Yue Ming bowed respectfully. An exclusive plane space was essentially private territory, a place to cultivate, to fight, to teach disciples. The training grounds on Yushang Mountain were only 1,000 kilometers in each direction for members of the primitive mystical region. A Universe Exalt's plane space was another scale entirely, more like a small world. They weren't comparable. Universe Exalts are the backbone of the human race and hold high positions. Many matters affecting the race are open to your participation. However, quotas for the Supreme Council require joint review by the 5 major forces. I've submitted your application. If nothing unexpected happens, approval should come soon. The human race held 2 kinds of meetings. The large Supreme Council gathered all Universe Exalts, Universe Lords, and the Universe Strongest to decide on universe-spanning issues or anything that affected the Exalts' interests. The Giant Axe meeting handled internal, race-level affairs among the race's Universe Lords and the Universe Strongest. Also, now that your strength is exposed, foreign races will definitely view you as a threat and try to eliminate you. For now, stay in the primordial universe and cultivate in seclusion. Don't leave unless absolutely necessary. This disciple understands. Yue Ming nodded. The two talked at length before Yue Ming excused himself. After leaving the palace, he walked the summit, looking for a site to establish his palace. The central mountain range of Thunder Island was immense, its mountainsides dotted with palace complexes tens of thousands, even millions of kilometers across. Those complexes looked like mere ornaments against the vast mountains. The summit's residents were all top universe overlords or stronger under the Virtual Universe Corporation, so available space still felt roomy. Yue Ming found a somewhat secluded spot, chose an architectural style, and the virtual universe system instantly generated a grand palace complex, his territory. Just after the palace finished, a string of messages arrived from Luo Feng, Hong, and Thunder God asking him to meet at their usual place. "Oh, the Galaxy Venerable has arrived," someone announced when he walked into the restaurant on Yushang Mountain, where they often gathered. Luo Feng and the others had been waiting. They pulled him into a seat and poured a glass. "Galaxy Venerable? They really called you that?" Yue Ming laughed. "Who came up with such an uninspired title?" "Ha, you're in Universe Exalt now. It's a bit odd to be called by name. Maybe someone knew you were the Lord of the Milky Way and coined Galaxy Venerable," Luo Feng teased. "Consider yourself lucky. Galaxy Venerable sounds decent, better than Earth Venerable." Thunder God smiled. "It's just a title," Yue Ming said, raising his cup. "Tell me about you. How far did you get in the Sea of Illusions? Any Universe Lords take you on as disciples?" Because the secret of Earth had been exposed, Yue Ming had told Hong and Thunder God some months earlier to test the Sea of Illusions when they could. I reached the 21st island, but I couldn't pass it. As you predicted, Yue Ming, it alerted a universe lord, and primordial chaos city lord accepted me as a named disciple, Hong reported. He's given me a trial. If I pass, I'll become a personal disciple. When Hong reached the 21st island, primordial chaos city lord was the first to learn of it and acted quickly. I'm a bit behind Hong. I only reached the 18th island, but I was picked up by Lord of Void Gold of our Great Axe Martial Arena and accepted as a personal disciple, Thunder God added. That was intriguing news. Hong had become a disciple of Primordial Chaos City Lord, making him a junior brother to Luo Feng in that lineage, and Thunder God had become a disciple of Lord of Void Gold. Venerable Shihuo himself was a disciple of Lord of Void Gold. Thunder God, since you became Lord of Void Gold's disciple, aren't you Venerable Shihuo's junior brother? Won't he make trouble for you? Yue Ming asked. Thunder God snorted. Make trouble? With Teacher Lord of Void Gold backing me, I'm safe, but he certainly won't look kindly on me. After all, he suffered a major setback because of you. Thunder God still bore a grudge. Earth was his homeland too, and he believed that if not for Yue Ming, Earth's fate might have been different. Keep it up, all of you. Now that you're disciples of Universe Lords, your futures are bright. Yue Ming raised his cup. With their talent and resolve, Hong and Thunder God would certainly rise given time. They spent several days together before parting. Yue Ming returned swiftly to the primordial universe and secluded himself in Primordial Chaos City to cultivate. Inside Hongmeng World, Yue Ming sat cross-legged in his divine kingdom. Before him floated 3 high-grade treasures he had won from his gambling match with Venerable Shihuo: the Flowing Cloud Evil Fire Spear, the Golden Ripple Eternal Blade, and the 3-legged Soul Cauldron. The spear and blade were offensive. Yue Ming already had the sky blue sword, so they were of little use. The 3-legged Soul Cauldron, however, like a soul-suppressing orb, was a soul defense treasure. Yue Ming refined the 3-legged Soul Cauldron and replaced the soul-suppressing orb with it. Now, apart from his flying palace, which was only a peak-class heavy treasure, all of Yue Ming's other equipment were true treasures. The Flowing Cloud Evil Fire Spear and Golden Ripple Eternal Blade won't do much for me. Better to sell them to gain race points, he muttered, putting the 2 offensive treasures away. He opened the chat group mall and purchased Divine Sparks to begin comprehending the origin law. Chapter 117, A New Group Mission. Less than half a year into Yue Ming's seclusion, a notification from the chat group suddenly pinged in his mind. A new group mission had been released. He logged into the chat group at once to check the details. Group missions were tied to origin points, and right now they were his only reliable way to earn them. Yue Ming was still trying to accumulate enough to raise his genetic level to the first tier, 30,000 times or more. Mission, Elementary, detected that chat group member Xiao Zhan's world, Battle Through the Heavens, World ID B5117, has been invaded by reincarnators. Requirements, kill the reincarnators. Reward, 0.01 origin points per reincarnator killed. Special note, maximum participants, 3. Members with higher evaluations will have priority in accepting the mission. Chat log, Battle Through the Heavens. No way, are you kidding me? My transmigrated world has been invaded by reincarnators? Big shots, help me out. Global Martial Arts, Li Jing. Xiaojian, be careful. In novels, the reincarnators' missions usually target the protagonist, and since you're the protagonist's father, they'll definitely come for you too. I read a lot of unlimited flow novels before transmigrating. Li Jing isn't wrong. Reincarnators' missions in those stories tend to revolve around the protagonist. Battle Through the Heavens. The more you say it, the more panicked I get. Should I hide somewhere? Everyone, accept the mission quickly. If you're late, you might have to collect my corpse. Coiling Dragons. Worlds our members transmigrated into fall under the jurisdiction of the transmigrator lineage. If the main god space lineage is behind the reincarnators, we won't stand idle. Someone will handle the main god space. We just need to deal with the reincarnators invading the Battle Through the Heavens world. Record of the 9 tripods. Teng Qingyun. The mission allows a maximum of 3 participants. Who's planning to accept it? I won't go. I'll leave the chance to earn origin points to you all. Li Shan'e, when did you become so selfless? That's unlike you. Are you feeling all right? Fine, I'll be honest. Since becoming a group administrator, I've got privileges and a salary. I earn 1 origin point every 100 years. Killing 1 reincarnator only gives 0.01 origin points, and how many people are in a reincarnator squad? I won't bother competing. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. Becoming a group administrator comes with a salary. I'm envious. Swallowed Star, Yue Ming, +1. Divine Tomb, Lu Shanshen, +1. Island Survival. Xiaoxiang, +1. The chat group notification had brought almost everyone online. Yue Ming hadn't logged in for over 10 years, and in that time the chat group had gained 2 new members and was growing faster than before. There were now 15 members, 17 if you counted the fallen Zhuo Fan and Invincible East. Becoming a group administrator actually comes with a salary. 1 origin point every 100 years, Yue Ming thought, feeling a flash of envy and even a little jealousy. It made him even more determined to become an administrator. There were still 8 administrator positions open, so his chances were good. He also noticed that Tung Qingyun had broken through to the 4th tier. She'd been lucky at the Myriad Heavens Mall Alliance, winning 2nd prize in a draw, a 7th tier supreme treasure. After selling it at the chat group mall for a huge sum of origin points, her cultivation had leapt forward. She might even reach the 5th tier before Yue Ming. Divined tier. Since so many people are signing up, we'll prioritize those with higher evaluations to accept the mission. Any objections? Finally, the mission was accepted by Lu Shanshan and Lu Ming. Among those who signed up, their evaluations were the highest. Lu Shanshan 8.7, Yue Ming 8.5, Lu Ming 7.9, and Li Jing 7.5. Lu Ming and others hadn't accepted group missions before, so they had no evaluations yet. Lu Ming had performed better than Li Jing in the last group mission, so his evaluation was slightly higher. A record of a mortal's journey to immortality. If priority is always given to those with higher evaluations, then won't those of us with no evaluation never get a chance? Coiling Dragon. Not exactly. For a member's first group mission, there's no evaluation requirement. You can accept any mission as long as you're fast enough to click accept. For now, with relatively few members, missions could still be discussed. Once the group grew bigger, acceptance would come down to reflexes. The fastest hand wins. Divine Tomb. Lu Shanshan. Each group mission has 3 days preparation time. We'll depart within 3 days, so prepare yourselves. Battle through the heavens. 3 days? I need to hide now. At least leave Wutan City. I can't stay here. Divine Tomb. You don't absolutely have to wait the full 3 days. Departing within that window is fine, but to be safe, everyone should prepare thoroughly to avoid any unforeseen mishaps. Dochi Continent, Wutan City, the Xiao family. Father, you called us all here in such a hurry. What happened? After Xiao Zhan left the chat group, he immediately summoned his 3 sons. He intended to take them and leave Wutan City at once. Ever since Xiao Zhan had transmigrated, he had altered many things in the original timeline. His 2 older sons, Xiao Ding and Xiao Li, had been recalled to the family because, in Xiao Zhan's view, a life as mercenaries had no future. It was better they returned to help manage the family so he could have more time to cultivate. Xiao Ding had proven himself capable, founding the Desert Iron Mercenary Group and managing the family well after Xiao Zhan entrusted it to him. Father, why do you look so troubled? Xiao Yan asked. I'll be brief. A major enemy is about to strike. Pack your things quickly and seal the family's valuables into storage rings. We leave Wutan City in 7.5 minutes. Xiao Zhan's mind raced. The reincarnators are almost here. Of course he looked worried. Who dares attack the Xiao family? Xiao Ding and Xiao Li's faces changed. Their auras surged. Both of them were now Doulings. That sight shocked Xiao Yan. Weren't Big Brother and Second Brother both Do Masters? How did they suddenly jump to Douling? With 2 Doulings, shouldn't the Xiao family have already dominated Wutan City? Xiaozhan had recalled them and, using treasures purchased from the chat group mall, raised both sons to the Douling realm. Your old man is still a 9-star Dohuang, Xiaozhan said. If I could deal with the enemy alone, I would. That's why we must flee. Hurry, or we won't get out in time. Xiaoyan, come here. Xiaozhan knew Xiaoyan had questions, so he called him over to explain matters plainly. The big players from the chat group would arrive soon. His identity as a transmigrator would not remain secret for long. Venerable Yao, my father and I need a private word. Xiaozhan reached out. The black ring on Xiaoyan's finger flew into his hand, and he sealed it. The battle through the heavens plot had just reached the annulment of the engagement. Xiaoyan had regained his talent and become a disciple of Yao Chen, currently studying alchemy under him. Father, Xiaoyan stared, surprised. He had never told anyone about old Yao. He hadn't expected his father already knew. No need to be surprised. Your old man knows more than you think. For example, I knew you were a transmigrator a long time ago. What? Being exposed as a transmigrator stunned Xiaoyan almost as much as the fact his father was already aware of his teacher. Then Xiaozhan grinned and added, whether you're a transmigrator or not, you're still my son. My blood runs in you. And another thing, Xiaozhan said, chuckling. Your old man is a transmigrator too. Pleasant surprise, isn't it? Father, you're a transmigrator too? Xiaoyan blinked. It was hard to take in. His father, also a transmigrator. So what if I am? Xiaozhan waved it off. Think of it as skipping Mengpo's soup. If it really mattered, I would have strangled you the moment I found out when you were little. You were reckless as a child. I let Yao Chen absorb your Do Qi for 3 years and pretended not to notice because I wanted to temper you. Look at you now, steadier. Besides, cultivation systems can awaken past life memories once pushed to extremes. Consider your awakening an early one. You don't need to fixate on it. Hearing his father's words and remembering how well Xiaozhan had cared for him, Xiaoyan felt a measure of acceptance. Who are these great enemies you mentioned? You're a 9-star Dohuang. Can't you handle them? Did you ever read unlimited flow novels before you transmigrated? Xiaozhan asked. I used to read a lot before I started working. Unlimited flow was popular then. I liked those novels, Xiaoyan replied. Then I won't waste time. Our world has been invaded by other transmigrators. Their objective is likely us. Xiaozhan didn't hide anything. He briefly told Xiaoyan about his own transmigration and how he had joined the transmigrator chat group. There was no point keeping the chat group a secret. The big players would arrive soon, and the truth would be out. You actually have a golden finger? Why don't I? This isn't fair. Xiaoyan gaped. His father was a transmigrator with a golden finger and had access to the chat group, but Xiaoyan had none. I already called for reinforcements in the chat group, Xiaozhan said. Big shots will descend into our world to help deal with the invading transmigrators. We only have to hold out until they arrive. What level are these big shots? Comparable to the Du Emperors of our continent? Xiaozhan glanced at the rank classifications he'd seen on the chat group's public board. Their Du Emperors were roughly equivalent to the Myriad World's 3rd rank, powerful within that tier, but not 4th rank. In the chat group ranks, there are categories like city destroying and nation annihilating, natural disaster grade, planet shattering grade, and so on. The Du Emperors of our world are about natural disaster grade. The ones I summoned are planet shattering grade, the kind who can casually blow up planets. Holy crap, Xiaoyan muttered. Calling in the chat group was enviable indeed. If you couldn't win, you could summon help. And these were the types who could destroy planets. That's about everything, Xiaozhan said. Here's your ring back. Venerable Yao's alchemy is top tier on the Duchi continent. Study hard under him. Xiaozhan unsealed the ring and tossed it back. The moment the seal lifted, a faint soul phantom drifted out of it. Yao Chen's expression changed. I misjudged, Yao Chen said quietly. The Xiao family is not simple. Venerable Yao, you flatter me, Xiaozhan replied. Since you call me Venerable Yao, you know who I am. Ha ha ha, your reputation precedes you. As the continent's foremost alchemist, an 8th grade advanced alchemist grandmaster, and a 9 revolution Do Venerate peak expert, it's not surprising we've heard of you. Yao Chen was of the Yao clan, one of the 8 ancient clans. In the original plot, he had been Xiao Yan's most important guide. Without him, the Flame Emperor might never have been born. Now that my son is your disciple, we are linked. I won't hide things. My Xiao family descends from the Xiao clan. As someone from the Yao clan, you must have heard of them. Yao Chen had thought the Xiao clan was long gone. He had never expected a branch of the bloodline to still survive quietly in a place like Wutan City. The Xiao clan's disappearance? Was it tied to the Hun clan? Yao Chen asked. It wasn't entirely the Hun clan's fault, Xiao Zhan replied. At the Xiao clan's peak, there were countless experts, especially during ancestor Xiao Xuan's time. But the clan's Dou Emperor bloodline was limited. After ancestor Xiao Xuan rose, the clan's blood dwindled. Extraordinary talents became rare, and the younger generations weakened. Ancestor Xiao Xuan made a desperate choice. He concentrated most of the clan's bloodline on himself, trying to force a breakthrough to the Dou Emperor realm in the Heavenly Tomb to save the clan. At that moment, the Hun clan launched a massive invasion and struck the Xiao clan with everything they had. The clan was nearly annihilated, only a small number escaped, scattering to places like the Jiama Empire. To gain Yao Chen's trust, Xiao Zhan gave a concise account of the Xiao clan's downfall. Since you've accepted my son and we share a common enemy, we have reason to cooperate. Please continue teaching Yaner. You've observed him for 3 years and know his character better than I do. He is not ungrateful. If the chance ever comes, the Xiao clan will help you revive. Yao Chen pondered, then nodded. He had, indeed, been secretly watching Xiao Yan. If not, he wouldn't have entrusted the flame mantra to him so readily. Yaner, from now on, you must study diligently under Venerable Yao. The flame mantra he taught you is not simple. It was created long ago by Emperor Tuosha, and its rank surpasses the heaven rank. Cherish it. Father, I understand, Xiao Yan said. Yao Chen gave Xiao Zhan a long look. He hadn't expected Xiao Zhan to know about the flame mantra. It was something Yao Chen had found by chance in an ancient immortal cave. Originally a low-grade yellow-rank technique, the flame mantra could advance by devouring different flames. Yao Chen didn't know its full origin, only that each evolution required consuming a different flame. Chapter 119, Arrival in the Battle Through the Heavens World. Yaner, time is almost up. Go quickly and tell your elder brothers. It's time for us to leave. The enemy could arrive any moment. If we don't go now, it'll be too late. Reincarnators from the main god space lineage, like the members of the chat group, varied widely in strength. Anyone bold enough to invade the battle through the heavens world had to be terrifyingly powerful, certainly beyond what he, a mere Do Huang, could face alone. Xiao Zhan's face was grave. Father, if we leave, what about the other Xiao family clansmen? Xiao Yan asked hesitantly. Xiao Zhan shook his head. They'll likely be after us specifically. Once we leave the Xiao family, they'll most likely ignore the rest. There was no good alternative. If he tried to take all the families with him, the sheer number of people would make a noisy retreat, slow them down, and leave tracks. They wouldn't get far before the reincarnators caught them. The attacker's true target was most likely the protagonist Xiao Yan, but it could also be Xiao Zhan himself, a member of the transmigrator lineage and the chat group. Those were only guesses, but better to be safe. It was best to leave Wutan City immediately. Father, can I bring sister sooner? Xiao Yan asked. All right, bring your little girlfriend then. Her identity isn't simple either. I'll tell you later. Xiao Yan flushed and opened his mouth a few times, wanting to protest that Xiao Shuner wasn't his girlfriend, but he couldn't form the words. What are you saying? Are the Hun clan coming to kill us? Yao Chen's expression changed. Xiao Zhan was a 9-star Do Huang, a top expert in the Jiama Empire's small sphere. Who could make him flee without a fight? It's not the Hun clan. Worse. There's no time to explain. Leave Wutan City. Leave the Jiama Empire. We only need to hold out for 3 days. Help will come. So, under the cover of night, the group slipped quietly out of the Xiao family and fled in a random direction. Anywhere that took them far from Wutan City and the Jiama Empire would do. Xiaoyan Gege, where are we going? Xiao Shuner asked. She didn't understand why they were suddenly running, but she was glad Xiao Yan hadn't forgotten her, even in such chaos. A powerful enemy is coming. We'll temporarily avoid their attention and wait for rescue. We only have to hold out for at most 3 days. Someone wants to deal with the Xiao family? Who are they? Xiaoyan Gegi. Xiao Suner's eyes flashed cold. She'd spent many years with the Xiao family and cared for it. She wouldn't stand by if someone attacked. Xiao Zhan overheard them and couldn't help but speak up, revealing part of Xiao Suner's background. The foes are far stronger than your Gu clan can handle. Even if you brought the entire Gu clan, or all 8 ancient clans together, it might not be enough. The world is huge, and your perspective is narrow. The Do-Chi continent is only one of the minor 1,000 worlds. Breaking through to Do-Di and ascending to the upper realm is just the beginning on the path of cultivation. Xiao Suner didn't deny it. She had indeed been sent to the Xiao family on a mission to investigate the whereabouts of the Tuosh ancient Emperor Jade. So this girl is from the Gu clan, Yao Chen murmured. He was mainly listening to what Xiao Zhan had said about Do-Di and the upper realm. All the historical Do-Dis who disappeared, were they really ascending to this upper realm? Yes, Xiao Zhan confirmed. The reason those Do-Dis vanished is because they ascended to the upper realm. And our enemies are powerful beings from other worlds. Even a Do-Di might look like an ant to them. Don't worry, I already called for help. Aid will arrive in 3 days. We just need to hide and hold on. Xiao Zhan then explained to everyone the relationship between the Do-Chi continent and the Major 1,000 Worlds. Though the so-called Major 1,000 Worlds here was only a name, the true Major 1,000 Worlds lay 108,000 li farther away in rank and scale. 2 days passed in a blur. They fled southwest until they lost all sense of direction. Then, from the distant horizon, a voice rang out across heaven and earth, and a terrifying pressure descended. Not good. Xiao Zhan's face went pale. He didn't need to guess. Reincarnators had found them. He hadn't expected the Reincarnator's mission to be connected to his protagonist's son, Xiao Yan. Xiao Zhan. Big shots, help! The Reincarnators have come knocking, and their mission really involves my protagonist's son. Don't wait. Teleport over to save us, or you'll have to collect my corpse. 5th tier. All right, we'll teleport to the battle through the heavens world immediately. Yue Ming, Lu Ming, any issues? No problem. I'm ready and can depart at any time. Same here. I can teleport to the battle through the heavens world whenever needed. Ha ha ha, Xiao Yan, we finally found you. Killing you will complete the other half of our mission, a voice shouted, and 12 figures appeared in the sky, teleporting in and encircling Xiao Zhan's group. From their words it was clear, their mission was to kill Xiao Yan, though killing him would only finish half of whatever assignment they were on. Yaner, they're after you. Stall for time. I've already called the chat group. Help is on the way. Xiao Zhan transmitted urgently to Xiao Yan, ordering him to buy time. Who are you people? We've never met. There's no reason to kill me. If I'm to die, at least tell me why. Xiao Yan pleaded, trying to stay calm despite his nerves. No grievances or enmities, but you just happen to be our target. Consider yourself unlucky, one of them replied. Don't waste time, kill him, and complete the mission. All right, Xiao Yan, farewell. I hope you reincarnate well. Actually, sorry, you might be beaten until your soul flies away and your spirit scatters. You may not get a chance to reincarnate. At that, one of the attackers unleashed a cloud of black mist. It smelled disgusting and spread out over hundreds of kilometers, slithering toward Xiao Zhan and the others. They fought with all their Do-Chi, but it was useless. Attacks passed through or were absorbed by the mist. Wherever it touched, things decayed as if reality itself was being corroded. Despair filled their eyes as the black fog contracted and began devouring them. They're so decisive, Xiao Zhan muttered. He had hoped to stall for the chat group's reinforcements, but the reincarnators attacked the moment they found them. Boom! Just as the group closed their eyes and braced for death, a figure appeared out of thin air. He waved his hand, and the endless black mist vanished, then crossed his arms to shield Xiao Zhan and the others. You are. Xiao Zhan stammered, staring at the newcomer, trying to place which of the chat group's heavy hitters had arrived. I am Yue Ming, the man replied. Your luck's good. I happened to be nearby, saw you in danger, and arrived in time. Get inside my world ring first. Once I deal with them, I'll let you out." Yue Ming waved and drew Xiaozhan and the others into his world ring, then turned his attention to the dozen reincarnators waiting in the air. 12 reincarnators, 5 rank 4, 7 rank 3. Yue Ming surveyed them carefully. The rank 3s were nothing to worry about, but among the 5 rank 4s, 2 had strength comparable to his. Chapter 120, Kill the Reincarnator. According to the Swallowed Star World's cultivation system, the 4th rank begins at the Immortal Realm. Yet even inside that rank, the gap is enormous. A top universe overlord sits at the lower end of 4th rank, while higher 4th rank powerhouses tower far above. Among the 12 reincarnators, Yue Ming estimated that 2 of them were at least as strong as he was, possibly even a bit stronger, on par with a top universe overlord. As long as I kill a reincarnator, 3rd rank or 4th rank, I get 0.01 origin points, Yue Ming thought. So I'll ignore the toughest 4th ranks for now and try to take out as many 3rd ranks as I can before Lu Shanshan and Lu Ming arrive. More kills, more origin points. He didn't know exactly how the rewards were calculated. It might have nothing to do with combat strength. The origin points could simply come from the reincarnator's identity. They transmigrate between worlds and likely carry some residue of power from the main god space. Killing a reincarnator could allow the chat group to plunder that power. This was only Yue Ming's guess. "Who are you? Where did you take Xiaozhan? Release him at once," one of the reincarnators barked. Yue Ming didn't answer. He activated his domain-type magic treasure, the Gilded Gold Pagoda, and a vast domain erupted, engulfing all the reincarnators. He then donned his flying fish battle armor, drew his sky-blue sword, and charged. "Be careful," one of the reincarnators shouted. Caught off guard by the domain, the reincarnators were suppressed before they fully reacted. By the time they managed to struggle free, Yue Ming was already among them. In an instant, 5 3rd-rank reincarnators fell under his sky-blue sword. "You're courting death," one of the survivors roared. Fury flared among the rest, especially the 2 strongest 4th-rank reincarnators. They struck back at once. One shifted into a titanic frost wolf, tens of thousands of feet tall, its ancient wolf bloodline amplified to terrifying effect. The beast howled and shattered the space for thousands of kilometers, sending a deluge of spatial fragments raging outward. The other spread his 5 fingers and unleashed 5 divine rainbows that seemed capable of constraining the void realm. He also manifested a disc-shaped treasure that swelled into a colossal millstone, tens of thousands of kilometers across, spinning as it bore down on Yue Ming. That millstone was a powerful magic treasure. This reincarnator clearly followed the Swallowed Star cultivation conventions. Yue Ming didn't wait to die. He reverted to his normal form. His undying divine body, a 100,000-kilometer-tall manifestation, feet planted with clouds only up to his waist. The battleground, this battle through the heavens world, was vastly larger than an ordinary life-bearing planet. If the battle world were a house, Yue Ming was the person standing inside it. He unleashed the first stance of the heaven-severing sword technique, his strongest secret move at present, summoned the heaven-severing sword intent to amplify it, and struck with will impact. He had used everything he had. Boom. Although the flying fish battle armor softened the blow, the combined assault of the 2 peak 4th-rank reincarnators still annihilated 5% of his divine body. More importantly, this was a battle through the heavens world. His innate divine power siphon couldn't quickly siphon external divine power to repair the lost portion of his divine body. But the 2 reincarnators paid a higher price. The Frost Wolf had 1 leg severed by Yue Ming's sword. The other's giant millstone was hurled aside by the strike, and the reincarnator himself suffered severe primordial spirit damage from Yue Ming's will impact. There, the advantage of an undying body became clear. Losing 5% of his divine body didn't cripple Yue Ming, while a severed leg and a damaged primordial spirit left the 2 reincarnators badly compromised. Fortunately, I suppressed the aftermath in time, or this whole battle world would have been destroyed, a voice declared as a figure materialized and easily brought the remaining reincarnators under control. With a single sweeping gesture, 5 of the reincarnators were killed. The power of 3 top universe overlord-level combatants, even the residual energy of their clash, could have obliterated the battle world. The remaining 2 third-rank reincarnators? I'll leave those to Yue Ming. Can't make him come all this way for nothing, the newcomer said. It was Liu Shanshan. Her casual suppression and killing of top universe overlord-level foes showed her strength had grown significantly after digesting the origin points from her last completed mission. Then I shall not decline, Yue Ming responded as he arrived. With a flick of his hand, he dispatched the 2 remaining third-rank reincarnators and completed the mission. Yue Ming, your progress is too fast. Last time I judged you to be roughly my equal, maybe a bit weaker. Now that I stand before you, I feel real pressure. You're not far from breaking through to 5th rank. Yue Ming watched him with evident feeling. Liu Shanshan, as a 5th-rank powerhouse, could precisely sense Yue Ming's level. She had read the Swallowed Star novel and knew its rank divisions. Yue Ming is indeed almost at 5th rank. Right now, he's effectively a top universe overlord, one step from breaking through to universe lord. I'm currently only at the peak of the Great Sage Realm and stuck at a bottleneck. I can't save origin points anymore. After this trip, I'll use origin shards to break through to the Quasi-Emperor realm, Yue Ming said. He had planned to save his origin points for proof of the Tao and a future Emperor breakthrough. But the mission's reward, 0.02 origin points, let him extract an origin shard now. Breaking through to Universe Lord isn't that simple, Yue Ming replied. My strength being comparable to a top universe overlord mainly comes from consuming origin shards to elevate my genetic level. My law comprehension is still far from enough for a true universe lord breakthrough. I've only cultivated the water space fusion law to the 4th level. It'll take at least another 1,000 years. The damage to the battle world was severe. This place is torn apart, countless lives injured or killed. Can we really just leave it like this? Liu Shanshan asked. Although she had intervened in time to prevent total destruction, the Doqi continent suffered grievous harm. The zone where Yue Ming and the others fought, a region tens of thousands of kilometers wide, had been almost completely annihilated, devolving into spatial voids. We'll repair the world before we go, Yue Ming said. He hadn't intended to wreck the battle world. He'd been forced into action by necessity. If he hadn't used the gilded gold pagoda to dampen the residual power, the battle world would already have been destroyed. If he had truly wanted to destroy it, he could have with a casual strike. Fortunately, Liu Shanshan's suppression, combined with Yue Ming's domain, had kept the worst from happening. For several days, the 3 of them worked together, mending spatial turbulence and patching the world's membrane. The repairs were difficult and painstaking, but gradually the worst of the damage was stabilized. We killed the reincarnators and tried our best to repair the damage, Yue Ming told the local cultivators as he released Xiaozhan and the others from his world ring. The survivors stared at the battered battle world in shock. But this war has taken a great toll on your world. Origin Qi here has been severely depleted. It will become much harder for your people to break through to Do-Di in the future. The entire Do-Qi continent has lost nearly 1/5 of its territory, one of them whispered. Considering what might have happened, this outcome is already fortunate. If we hadn't controlled the residual energy, your world would have been completely destroyed, Liu Shanshan said. We're returning to our own worlds now. May we meet again. The 3 figures vanished and returned to their respective realms. Back in the Swallowed Star world, Yue Ming immediately logged into the chat group to check his mission rating and the origin points he had earned.